Starting now.
Great.
Ooh, like it. So, I've known Alan for too long. Actually, I've known Alan for a very, very long time. He's a close associate, a mentor. He's one of my inspirations. He is a CSP and, pardon me, he is a CSP and a global speaking fellow. He's spoken in 14 countries in person, more if you count remote. 5 of them in Spanish, and he's the author of 5 books, including what we're going to be talking about today. If your website was an employee, would you fire it? And with that, Alan, I'm going to turn it over to you. NSA-KC, please welcome Alan Berg.
Thank you, Ron, and thanks everybody for joining today. A little chillier for you than for me, but we will get through this with some, let's call them some hot ideas here. So this is a presentation or a variation of it that I've actually done at NSA National a couple of times, breakouts, and I've also done it at many chapters. So I'm going to go through some tips for you here, and then if you want at the end, I will pull up some of your websites and show you how to apply these tips. And Ron has already volunteered his if nobody else wants to on that. So let's talk about websites here. Is your website the first stop they're making when they're looking for a speaker, a trainer, a consultant, or whatever, coach, or whatever you do? And it's not, because you don't get any business from your website. And every time I say this, people are like, what? You get business through your website. They came from somewhere to your website, and then they come through to get to you. So the question is, where did they come from? Because when I ask people, where did you get your business from? They go, oh, from my website. I'm like, wrong answer. They had to get to your site somehow. Did they use a search engine, searching for someone like you, or maybe even searching for you there? Advertising, marketing, social media, personal referrals, link from some other site, marketing material or campaign, expo or trade show. How did they get to your site? So you want as many paths as possible for people to be able to get to your site so they can go through your site to get to you. There's something called last click attribution. And that's where we give credit to the last click that happened before someone contacts us or before they take action. Like if someone buys a book on my website, I give credit to the shop for getting the sale, but I don't really know where they came from to get there. Now, with codes and with tracking and stuff, you might be able to look at that. Most people don't, but there are ways to find that. But we tend to give credit to that without all the other steps before. And if you think about yourself as a consumer, how many steps do you make when you're going to buy something online? What do you remember? Probably the last one because you bought there or you made the action there. But that really wasn't how they got there. It wasn't all those other breadcrumbs we'd like to see like Hansel and Gretel. So is your website their last stop? Well, ideally, since most of us are selling products and most of us selling services, not products. We do have shops, we do have things that we sell, but for most people in NSA, and it's certainly for me, and I know for Ron, it's not the books that make us the money. It's the services that make us the money. So we want it to be the last stop before they contact us. And that's why I titled this book, If Your Website Was an Employee, Would You Fire It? Because it is your most important employee. It's working right now while we're doing this. Your website is waiting for somebody to step in and say hi. So would you give your website a raise? Is it that good of an employee? It's like, wow, you're doing such a great job. I'm going to give you a raise. Or if that was a real employee, would you fire it? Or maybe you'd retrain it. Maybe you'd give it a few tips, say, hey, you just need a little help over here. And that's what we're going to do today. I don't really expect all of you to say, oh my gosh, I need to scrap my website. But when you see some of these things, you might say, well, maybe it is time. Or maybe I can just tweak it a little bit. Think of your homepage like a receptionist. A receptionist in an office, somebody walks in, gets off the elevator, a receptionist is there. A receptionist says, hi, welcome to your business. How can I help you today? And if you say, well, I'm looking for a speaker for my conference, or I'm looking for someone to do training for us, I'm looking for a coach, I'm looking for something, how easy is it for them to find that? How many steps do they have to take to get to what they're looking for there? Is it 3 clicks to get where they are, or is it 1? It's right there, they click and they're right there. You want to make it as easy as possible because what you don't want is them to turn around and leave. And online, it's way too easy to turn around and leave. There's 4 basic ingredients that you should have on every web page. And I'll also say this is on marketing materials that you do as well. And the first is the visual. Now, aspirational images. Aspirational images are images that your audience, your customers, will aspire to want the results that they see. This is a little tougher for you than it is for my clients who are typically wedding and event professionals. They're showing weddings, they're showing events, they're showing people having a great time. But so many people get that wrong even in the wedding and event industry by showing empty rooms or equipment or things like that. But the aspirational images, we see pictures before we read words. Right? If a website comes up and there's a picture, we're going to look at the picture before we're going to read the words. So what is the image? What is the graphic? What is the visual that's going to catch their attention? And does it relate to what you do so that there's a connection? You don't want it just to be a picture that's like, oh, wow, look at that. Right? You want it to be like, oh, wow, look at, And they want them to be interested in getting a result or something like what they see. So whenever possible, we want to use that. The second is aspirational text, and this is something we can all do. Aspirational text means the person reading it wants the results that they're reading about. You're not talking about what you do. You're talking about the results they're going to get. See, they're not hiring you because they need a speaker. They need a speaker because they're having an event. They're having an event because they want to invite people to it. They want to invite those people because they want those people to get what? Like the old analogy, nobody buys a drill bit because they need a drill bit. They buy a drill bit because they need to make a hole. And I take that one step further. I have a cork board hanging on my wall here. Well, I needed a drill bit because I had to make a hole. I had to make a hole because I had to put a hanger. I had to put a hanger because I wanted to hang the cork board. I wanted to hang the cork board so that I can put family photos on it. So right now, I can take a glance over there and see my mom who passed in 2019, my dad who's 90, my 4-year-old grandson. I can see all of that right here, and that's why I needed a drill bit. So you want to be talking about in the words the results that the audience, the results that the planner, the results that whoever is hiring you is going to get, because those are the results they want, because they don't want a speaker or a coach or a trainer. They want the results of bringing you specifically in. So talk to them as if you're talking to them. And I'll show you later how we can do that. The third thing is you want to validate with social proof. Social proof are the things that your customers and your audience says about you after they've experienced what you do. The actual experiences they've had. Now, the key with this is that if someone writes you a beautiful long testimonial, whether it's a handwritten note or whether it's online, whether it's you have a place where they can post reviews for you, whatever it is, nobody wants to read the whole paragraph. But what you want to pull out is that sentence, that one phrase that describes it. So one of the exercises I do with my clients when I'm doing sales training is I actually just had 2 salespeople at this one company, and I said, here's what I want you to do before our next call. I want you to go and find the reviews. I want you to take the reviews that mention each of you by name, and then I want you to swap them. And I said, Nicole, I want you to go look at Brett's reviews, and Brett, I want you to look at Nicole's reviews and find their personal brand. Find what it is that they say about Nicole specifically. And it comes up again and again. And they did that for each other. And what was interesting is they both had great reviews, but what they said about the other person was different. That what they talked about was different. When they hire you as a speaker, most of us don't have a monopoly where we're the only one that speaks about that industry or that thing, or we're the only one they could hire for that particular event. That would be great if they said, gee, I'm having this event and I have to have you. Most of us don't have that. But what we do have is the uniqueness of the results that we provide, because people say different things. So you want to validate with social proof that what you just said and what you just showed in this image is true in the words of people that have already experienced it. And then the fourth, which is really the most important, is the call to action. Once you've shown them the results and talked about the results, once you've had somebody support those results, you have to ask them, if you want those results, now do this, and make it as easy as possible to do that. So whether it's a printed piece like a PDF, whether it's a page on your website, even an ad, if you're taking an ad somewhere, you have a promotion somewhere, you want to have these 4 things in there in some form. And then remember that every website's a work in progress. Never tell me your website's done unless there's ... for today. This was my website. When I was a salaried employee, I was vice president of sales of a company called The Knot. It was the largest wedding website in the world. When I was there, I left in 2011. This was the first website I had made. Not bad, right? WordPress website from, what was it, 10 years ago? Not bad. A couple of years later, we updated it to this. A few years after that, we updated it to this. Now, notice the difference in the picture. Went from a picture of me to a picture from behind me. Actually, I had to beg this photographer to take this picture. I said, please go backstage and take the picture. She's like, why? I said, because I want them to see the audience. And then the next one went to this, where I said, give me a little 3/4 so you can see it's me a little bit more. And now, because I've been home for the last 11 months, which I used to not be home for 11 days before being away, I added the Zoom screens on there. I added the Facebook Live on there. So now it's updated again. Updated. It's always a work in progress, always tweaking it. How can I make it better than it was before? Which is my philosophy on life, is I don't want to ever be the best I can ever be at anything. I want to be the best I've ever been, but I don't want to be the best I can ever be, because I want to be able to be better. So the best I've ever been, I can still be better than that. Same with my website. So I'm going to give you 5 signs it's time to fire your website. 5 signs that maybe it's time to go. Then I'm going to give you ways to improve your current site, things to add, things to take away, and then we're going to look at some of your websites. So the first sign that it's time to fire your website is if it looks like you made it yourself. Now, some of you are immediately going in your mind to some website that you know that you've thought of like that. The key is not, does it look to you like you made it yourself? Does it look to somebody else? Now, again, I told you I'm in the wedding and event industry, and this is probably a couple of years old, but a couple of years ago, this was still a bad website. This one over here, I always get a kick out of this one here, because he says, right, you look at all of what he does here, and then it says, the best in entertainment services, period. Actually, it says the best in entertainment services, period, if you really want to get technical. Now, would you believe that? Would you look at that website and those words, and does that jive together? Do you believe that he's the best in entertainment services because of that? And then just the other day, I did a webinar. I had a little over 600 people register for this webinar. And one of the people, when I was looking at the registration list, she didn't list her company location and her website. But I had her email address, so I went and took a look at her website to see where she was. And this was 2 days ago. This website was live. I blocked out the name, obviously, over there, but this was live. That website, says that it's their 20th anniversary. And I'm guessing that this might have been her first website. If not her first, it was her second, but in 20 years, that hasn't been updated. Now, no matter how good their products are, no matter how good their services are, this website is costing them, because somebody goes to one of their competitors who doesn't have to spend a lot of money on a website, but can go and have a WordPress site made, Squarespace, Wix, something with a new template. Take all the content they have, put it into a new template. It's going to look better, but they haven't done it, and they don't realize the business that it's costing them at this point. Number 2 is dated design. Now, this goes along the same lines here. You can have a website that's not new. It just shouldn't look like it's dated. My website, I'd say we're a good 4 or 5 years into it, but the template keeps getting updated. So it's a WordPress template. It looks similar to current templates. I do keep tweaking it and updating it. So it's okay that it's 3, 4, 5 years old, because it doesn't look it. This site, last year, it's funny, I do this thing on Facebook. If it's your birthday, I wish you a happy birthday. It tells me who your birthday is. I wish you a happy birthday. Personally, I do every person in a private message. That's how one of the things I do on social. And this guy, I messaged him happy birthday, and he came back and he said, thanks very much, and put a link to his website. I didn't ask him to. I was just wishing him happy birthday. So that was kind of a dare. So I went and clicked, and I found this last year. Now, I know what DJ websites should look like because I work with them, right? I work with the industry. Same thing here. The white text on the black background. No Flash player. Who uses Flash anymore, right? It just doesn't look new. This kind of design, which maybe, again, 5 years ago might have been okay. Now, it's costing him just because of the design. Number 3 is if it doesn't match your current branding. Now, let me just pause here for a second, talk about brand versus branding. Your branding is your colors, your logo, your font, the way your stuff looks, your designs. You should have something called a style guide. And a style guide is the fonts that you use, the colors that you use, but not like it's orange. My brand color is orange for my main brand, alanberg.com, but it's not just orange. It's the hex number ED8523. That's the color orange. We've been using that color since 2011. That is the color that we use on everything. If it's orange, it's ED8523. And then I have other logos that have other colors in them. We use those specific colors. So we have things match that specifically. Branding is your colors, your fonts, your logos. The style guide means you could hand that guide to someone who's making an advertisement for you, a marketing piece for you, or doing your website, and they will follow that guide and it will look consistent with everything else you do. Your brand is what I said before, the social proof. What do people say about you after they've done business with you? So branding would be like this. In 2011, this was the logo that we had made. I came up with the idea. My son's a graphic designer. I said, people always talk about me like a Renaissance man. So, I love tools and things. I came up with the idea, a pen, a microphone, and a wrench, because I write, I speak, I fix things. He came up with this, loved this logo. About 2 years later, my graphic designer, my son, came to me and said, it's time to update your logo. And I said, I'm not really crazy about the blue either. Blue is a calm color, and my brand is more energetic than that. So I'd like to do something with orange. ED8523 turned out the orange that he came up with. And then we came up with this logo. Updated variation of it. Not a revolution, an evolution. And then a couple of years later, he said, it's time to update your logo. I said, okay, you're the designer. You go ahead and do it. He said, well, design now is more considered flattened design like this. Again, love it. But at that point, every time that logo changed, every marketing piece I have that was still sitting on a shelf went into the recycle bin and we got new because it had to match. I couldn't have one piece with one logo on it and another piece with another logo on it because that wouldn't be consistent in the branding. Same with your website. If I go to your website and then I look at your business card or vice versa, or your marketing piece, or I see an ad somewhere, when I go there, does it look like I'm continuing the journey, or is there friction because I have to stop and think, wait a minute, am I at the right place? So consistent branding across all of your marketing, including your website. So again, here's my website. You can see the orange colors over there. I have a new brand for my sales training called Your Personal Sales Trainer. Came up with this avatar. You're going to see that avatar there. You're going to see the avatar, let's see, over here on this marketing piece. Again, consistent going across. Number 4, if it's not mobile friendly, and I know I shouldn't have to say this these days, but there's a difference between it works on mobile and being mobile friendly. So if you have Google Analytics, which you should, you'll see something like this on your report. If you don't have Google Analytics, it's free. If you have analytics through some other source, if you have maybe Squarespace or Wix or whatever, maybe they give you analytics, but you should be able to find out how much of your traffic is mobile. So in this case, the site on the left, which is my website, little under 30% of my traffic is mobile. Now let me say this about analytics. The best thing about any analytics is trending over time as opposed to a snapshot of what's going on right now. Like today, how much of the traffic to my website today is mobile is almost irrelevant. What matters is, over the last 90 days, which is this report, compared to maybe the 90 days before or going back over a year, how does that 28.9% compare? And for me, I can tell you that it's pretty darn flat. As a matter of fact, if I go back 8 years ago, it was 25%, and now it's 29%. So it's not really moving that much. My clients who are in the wedding and event industry, most of them are seeing more than 50% mobile. You can see 41 in the middle, 65 on the end. I had somebody on a training class I did the other day, and he was over 80% mobile. Now, why is that important? There's 2 ways to address mobile. One of the ways you shouldn't be using anymore, which is a mobile site, a traditional, just a separate site that's mobile. And the other is what's called responsive design. According to Google, right, and we all kind of bow to the Google gods when it comes to certain things like this, they're using mobile indexing, and they've been doing this now since 2019, I believe. And what that means is when Google comes to your site and it indexes, which means it reads all the words on your website. It looks at all the tags and things. It's looking at how it looks on mobile. It's not looking at a desktop version. So if you have two separate sites, a desktop site and a mobile site, the desktop site is not being indexed at all anymore. It's only using the mobile version of your site. So you want to have one version of the truth, which is to have a responsive design site so that it's just mobile. So here's what responsive design means. This is my website on my laptop. This is on my phone. This is on an iPad mini. Right? These are actual screenshots. It's the same exact website. It will adapt to the size of the screen. And if you turn that iPad landscape or turn the phone landscape, it'll adapt to that as well. If you go from that laptop to, what am I on here, a 27-inch monitor, it will adapt to that as well. So responsive design means the technology that's underlying that will adapt to the screen. That doesn't mean it adapts well, though. I've seen many times where sites, you look on your phone and it pulls up fine. By the way, how can you tell if it's not responsive? If it looks like the exact same site, but it just looks shrunk down, right? That is not responsive. So look at these three images over here. The one on the right, sorry, it's a little bit fuzzy there. You can see the one big line underneath the picture there. It says the leading international speaker and expert on the business of weddings and events. That's one line. But if you look on the iPad, it's 1.5 lines. And if you look on the mobile, it's 3 lines. That's adapting because it's not static text that it has to be that sentence taking up one line. It can rewrap as needed. That's what responsive design is. You need to be looking at your website as if it was somebody else's and look at it on mobile. How easy is it to use the menus? How easy is it to click the buttons? How easy is it to find what somebody's looking for? Or better yet, get a buddy and you go look at their site and have them look at your site and find the things that are causing friction, that make it hard to get to where people want to get to, because we don't have patience. If it takes more than a few seconds to find what we want, we're gone. We're going to go someplace else. So do that. Look at it on mobile. I do it, even though only 29% of my traffic is mobile. I still look at it on mobile to see what else can I do to make this work better for mobile. So one of the things you can do, a lot of us have a lot of content. Now, there's 2 reasons for that. One is we have a lot of content. And the second is search engines love text. The problem is they love text, but you put too much text on, it just takes up a lot of room then. And now it's not mobile friendly or even desktop friendly. So one of the ways that I've used and that you can use to condense some text onto a page without the page feeling longer are things called tabs. Now, tabs are things like you would see in a file folder, right? You get the little cut on the file folder, and then the next one's over a little, the next one's over a little bit. So these tabs here act the same way. But what it does is it brings that content forward. If you click on that tab, it brings that content forward. So instead of scrolling down the page, I can bring all of that content forward just by clicking that tab. Back when I started, I'd go to NSA meetings and people would talk about having their one sheets and they would talk about, here are the presentation topics. Well, I have a lot of different topics that relate to the business of weddings and events. It actually relates just to business, but that's my niche in there. I had an 11-page PDF with all of my speaking topics and written exactly as you would put them into a program. So the heading, the subhead, the little description, the 3 or 4 bullet points. Every one of those, and it was an 11-page PDF. So they could just take that information, copy paste it into whatever they needed. Problem with PDFs is they don't change. If I send Ron a PDF, that's the PDF that he's got. And it's always going to be like that. And next year, if I have new topics, they're not going to be on his PDF. The other thing is PDFs just shrink down to the size of a screen. So when you shrink them down to the size of a phone screen, you really can't read it because it was made for 8.5 by 11 paper. It wasn't made for a phone screen. So I now, instead of having an 11-page PDF, I have one page on my website called Speaking Topics. It's not a very long page because it's got tabs on it. Right? I also use them here. So this is remote services. I added this page on after COVID. And there's tabs again: remote sales training, group sales conversion workshop, website review business consults, group website review sessions. Again, instead of scrolling down, there you go. This is what it looks like on mobile. So the same thing with the adapting there. Instead of those tabs being across, they've now stacked. and this is what it looks like there. You're at the same point on this page and pulling all this other content forward. So if you have some content that you just don't want to get rid of, this is one way to condense it. Another way are called toggles or accordions. Now, these two words are used interchangeably, and there's only one difference. It's a technical difference on it. With a toggle, if I click that little plus sign, this opens. And then if I click the plus sign on the one below it, right, notice how the first one closed, that's called an accordion. If they both stayed open, it would be called a toggle. That's the only difference. It's just you can either have them all open or you can only have one open at a time. One open at a time is called an accordion. You can have them all open is called toggles. So this is part of my speaking topics where each of the topics is now just one sentence. And then when you click on it, it opens that up and now you can read all the content. And again, the heading, the description, the bullets there. I talk about how long it is, what the presentation format is, and all of the topics there just take up one line. And then they're in tabs based upon overall category: sales, websites, inspiration, etc. Now, number five, if you're not getting conversion or inquiries, conversion is what you're looking for. That's somebody taking action when they get to your site. If you remember in the beginning, I said you don't get any business from your website, you get business through your site. Well, they have to take action. They have to call you, text you, email you, fill out a form, WhatsApp, however they're going to contact you through your site, live chat, whatever you have. They have to take that action. If your site is a dead end, that somebody comes in, they look at stuff, and then they just leave, that is costing you money right there. You need to get conversion when someone gets there. Because think about this. How many websites are there in the world? I don't know, billions probably. They're at your website. Any of our websites is like a speck of dust in the World Wide Web, right? But they made it to your website. Why are they not contacting you at that point? Now, it could be the wrong traffic, right? The wrong person coming in. But if they're the right person and you're the good fit for them and they don't contact you, that's costing you. And it could be costing you more than a new website would cost you to make. So what you want to look at is, again, on the analytics reports, look at something called the bounce rate. Now, bounce rate it's just a fancy term for somebody came in and then they left. They left without looking at any other pages except the one that they came in on. Now, I notice I didn't say your homepage because they may not come in on your homepage. If I Google you, or if I Google for a certain type of a speaker, coach, consultant, whatever, I may not get to your homepage. Like for me, I've created my site so that each of the services, the main services I do, has its own page. Well, that's a better result than the homepage, which talks about everything that I do. So if you said, gee, I want Alan to come and do sales training, and my site came up, the sales training page is the page that'll come up in the Google search, not my homepage, because I talk about sales training way more on the sales training page than I do there. If they come in on that page and leave, don't look at any other page, that's a bounce. Now, is a bounce bad? Depends. What did they do when they were there? Did they contact me? Because on my site, you can be on that page, click and dial and call me. We can have a conversation, and then you can leave that page, and nothing wrong with that. You can click and send me an email and then leave. You can fill out a contact form on that page. You can even text me from that page. So I've created a scenario that my bounce rate is going to be higher than a lot of other sites. The average bounce rate, I've been told, across all websites is about 40%. And that means 40% of the people that come in leave without looking at any other page except the page they're on. My site typically runs like this, 80%, right? Sometimes a little below that, sometimes a little above 80%. But again, if somebody came to my site, did what they needed to do, contacted me, because they can call me, email me, text me, fill out a contact form right from that page, and they leave, nothing wrong with that. So I don't use Google Analytics to tell me if my business is doing well. I use my calendar and my bank account to tell me if my business is doing well. But you can tell in this one over here, the number 4 on here, US3 Campaign Archive, that is a MailChimp campaign that we did. 95% bounce rate. And what that meant is 95% of the people that clicked in from that left without looking at any other page. Now, with my blog, that's usually pretty typical. It's a pretty high rate because I have the same people come in month after month because I used to have 19,000 people on my list. I cut it down to 6,600 that are actually interacting. But those 6,600, some of them will come in every month. They'll take a look, they'll read the article, and then they'll leave because they've been there before. Whereas number 8, the special event show, is a conference that I speak at. That only has a 30% bounce rate. So only 30% of the people that come in leave without looking at any other place. And you can see the next column is how many pages somebody reads when they get there. 1.43 at the top versus 2.25 at the bottom. Right? So, and then if you go down a little further, there's another one, number 10. They're looking at 2.74 pages there. So we're looking for engagement. Are they engaging with the content? How long are they spending? That's the column next to it over there. Notice in number 4, it's only 43 seconds is the average time on the page. Number 8 was 5 minutes. Right? Not on the page, I should say on the site. I'm going to give you 2 bonuses. I said there were 5 signs it's time to fire your website. Here's a bonus. If there's only one person that can work on your site, that's a problem. And that's a big problem waiting to happen. I have seen it on the NSA group on Facebook. I've heard the horror stories. I've seen it with my clients. If there's only one person that can either make the changes on your site or one person that knows that particular coding because you had a friend or somebody that coded it custom, that's going to be a problem if something happens to that person. And I remember seeing on the NSA Face group page where someone's web person passed away. And his widow didn't know where any of the codes were, didn't know where any of the stuff was, and you had people locked out of their own websites, not able to make any changes, not able to do anything. You should own your domain name, so the web address. That should be in your name on your credit card. You should own your web hosting. You should know who that company is. It should be charged to your card. You should have all the logins and all that. So if you want to transfer it to somebody else, you can do that. That's why I use WordPress for my site, because there's always somebody else who can work on WordPress. And they can, even with some of the custom coding that we have done, it's not that custom that somebody else couldn't go in there and figure it out. So you want to make sure that you own all of that, because it's a problem waiting to happen. It's like the backup on your site. People tell you, oh, you should have a backup of your stuff. Yeah, everybody knows that, but do you have it? I was talking to Apple the other day because something going on with my laptop. All of my main files are in Dropbox. So I save everything into a Dropbox. It's on my computer, but it's in Dropbox. Well, that's already in the cloud. And then I do a cloud backup every night. It automatically backs up my computer to the cloud. And then I have a time machine drive, an external hard drive, that backs up as well. So I have a backup of my backup of my backup, because I've seen people have trouble with that and you just can't recover anything. So make sure, same thing here. And number 7, I should say. If your site is costing you more in lost business than a new site would cost you, then every day it goes by, it's just costing you more money. I told this story the other day on a webinar I did. It's a guy I know in my industry. He calls me up one day frantic. He's a very high-end wedding entertainer, DJ entertainment company. And a very high-end planner referred a customer to him. This was going to be probably a $4,000 or $5,000 sale. The customer goes and looks at his website, goes back to the planner and says, refer us to someone else. She said, no, he's your guy. I'm telling you, he's your guy. You're going to love him. I've used him before. He's wonderful. They said, we don't like his website. Refer us to someone else. Can you imagine? They wouldn't even contact him on a personal referral from their planner. So he called me up frantic. Now, I don't make websites. I consult on them. I review them. I don't make sites. And he said, I need help now, because it just cost me $4,000 or $5,000 that I know of. If he lost even one more sale that he didn't know of, that was $8,000 or $10,000, way less than it would cost him for a new site. So if your site is not converting, if it's not getting you business, what is the opportunity cost of not getting a new site? Because it doesn't have to be expensive, especially some of those sites I showed you earlier that are really bad. A pretty site right now would be better than those sites and would actually get them some business. Now, most of you are not going to replace your sites right away. So let me show you some ways to improve your current site so that it'll convert better than it is already. Now, one thing you want to do here is look at your analytics report to see what pages people are going to. So when you go into your analytics report, you can look at the time frame over there. I like to look at a year, but look at least 3 to 6 months and look at the pages that people are going to, because if you're going to make changes, don't start at a page that nobody looks at. Start with the pages people go to. So looking on this report over here, you can see the slash at the top. That's the home page, right? So that's just your home page. For my site over this period of time, my sales training page was number 2. My when is a ghost not really a ghost? That's there's something called ghosting. I don't know if you've heard the phrase. Someone sends you an inquiry, let's say. You respond, and then you don't hear back. You got ghosted. Or maybe you go back and forth a little bit, and then you don't hear back anymore. That's called getting ghosted. So I wrote an article on my blog called When is a Ghost Not Really a Ghost? And then there's my speaking page, mastermind speaking topics, my about page, website reviews, and so forth. Okay? These are the pages. So according to this report, this is my number 3 page over this time. Probably, I'm guessing it's a year's time because it's almost 36,000 page views there. Is it really? Right? Let's dig in just a little bit deeper. If I click on that word there, it's going to show me over that period of time. And this was, what is this going here from February or January? Yeah, this is a year's time over here. But look at when that page was actually really active, when it launched. So when that blog launched, there was a spike. And then a week later, we send the same blog out to people that didn't open it the first time. So we use MailChimp. And in MailChimp, we can send it again and say, if they didn't open it the first time, send it to them again. So that's that second spike over there. And we always get a spike of about 50% of the first time. So if we go back for a second here, is that really my number 3 page? Not really. Because the rest of the year, it didn't exist before that. And then after that, it just gets little dribs and drabs. Right? Now, this one over here is interesting. I wrote this blog post, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago. What's your 1, 3, and 5 year plan? I wrote it, I think it was in November or December, towards the end of the year. I wrote this, and it is constantly on my report as one of my top 10 pages. And what's interesting is, it's all year. I wrote this article years ago. It's all year. The challenge is, this page has a very, very high bounce rate because the people that are finding it from a Google search. And they're not really looking for me. They're probably not even in my industry, but they're interested in the topic. But you can see that all year long, I'm getting traffic to that page. Now, what I did was I went to that page, made sure that there was a call to action on that page, made sure that it was clear there's a contact form so that anybody that does come in my industry can contact me from that page. Make sure that that page is more actionable. Now, it's an article, so it wasn't a lot that I could do to it without it making it seem more like an advertorial. But it's very interesting that that topic, that what it tells me is that's a very hot topic because all year long, I'm getting traffic to that page. Now, number 2, something that everybody here can do is, remember when I talked about the 4 things that you want to do on your site? The second one is aspirational text. So we want to make sure that you're speaking to the people who are reading that page about the results that they want to get. And I call it the you test, right? So using the words you and your more than you use the words I, we, me, us, and our. Now, you have to use the words I, we, me, us, and our because you are talking about yourself, even on a page like your About page. However, if you don't include them and the results they want in your wording, they're going to go find somebody else. Because remember, they're not looking for a speaker. They're not looking for a coach. They're not looking for a trainer. They're looking for the results that you and only you can provide. That's what you need to be talking about. Talk about the results they're going to get. So what you do is you look at your website and you look for the word you. And the way you do that is on any page, in any browser, under the edit menu, just find the edit menu. It might be on the right side in your Chrome if you don't have the menus up at the top. But edit, you'll find the word find. And when you click on the word find, a box pops up. And in that box, type the word you. In this example here, 26 times on that page, whatever page it was where I went to there, was the word you. Good. When I see the word you on a page, I don't even have to read every word to know that you're speaking to that person. A lot of sites I go to, I don't see the word you at all, or hardly ever. It's more of that kind of third person removed text, talking about someone, Bob is a whatever, and Bob does this and Bob does that. Okay, but talk to them. Now, you can use that third person text if you tell me that Bob's going to do this for you and when your audience and your boss and your whatever. So here's how it looks. Here's a site you might know. Who's this guy? I think he speaks about Disney stuff there. Anyway, so I went to Ron's site last night and I did the U test. I went onto his speaking page. See, the home page on a lot of people doesn't have as much text, so you won't have the word you as much. So I went to his speaking page. And on his speaking page, it tells me that 44 times on the page, he has the word you. Probably because he knew I would yell at him if he didn't have it over there. Scroll down a little bit more and you can see when you do the U test, it highlights the word on the page. So when I just scrolling through and looking at the word you, and I see that first paragraph has it 3 times, and the paragraph below the bullets has it 3 times again, I can feel already that Ron is speaking to the audience about them, right? About you. You determine the time available. You can enjoy a tailored presentation. Your audience, your meeting, your attendees. He's speaking to them about them. And to show you that I'm not a hypocrite, this is my sales training page, and it's 76 times on the page. Might even be more than that because sometimes with the tabs and the toggles, it doesn't count the ones that aren't forward at the time. But you can clearly see here, right? You. And it's actually why I use this sub-brand called Your Personal Sales Trainer, not Personal Sales Training, Your Personal Sales Trainer. I was thinking one day that my clients, most of them, I have some big clients, but most of them are not big companies. A lot of them are solopreneurs, smaller companies, 3, 5, 8 people, some of them a little bit bigger, and they're never going to have a full-time trainer on staff. So I'm your personal sales trainer. And I said, yeah, I am your personal sales trainer. Is that .com available? And it was. So yourpersonalsalestrainer.com goes to this page, even though that's not its own site. And there's the branding again. There's my avatar that I put over there. And just for reference, if you want something like that, go to Fiverr, Fiverr.com. You can have stuff like that made. As Ron knows, I did have them tone the muscles down a little bit for that, though. Just I didn't want to embarrass anybody. So. Number 3, improve your current site. Is all of your contact information there? How frustrated do you get when you can't find the phone number if you want to call someone, or a real email address if you don't want to fill out a contact form? The contact form on the right is very common. It's here's contact us, name, email, phone, put that in there, there you go. Whereas the one on the left has a name, has an address, has a phone, well, it says fax on there. I think I can get rid of that now. Has the email address actually there, has directions, has all of those things. Don't make people search. I have it at the top of every page. The best way to reach Alan, call, text, email. It's right there at the top of the page, and then it's throughout the page again and again and again and again. Remember that people can't see your whole page. No one can step back far enough to see the entire page. So as I scroll, you need another call to action. You need your contact information again and again, and make sure it's not a dead end, that it's actionable. If it says call, I click, I dial you. If it says email, I click and send you an email. But go to your contact page and see if it's there. See what's there. Photos that show the result of doing business with you. Now, as I said earlier, my industry is the wedding and event industry. I love what somebody said at the last influence, but it was the influence from 2019. They said, Alan, your niche is an inch wide and a mile deep. And it's absolutely true. My niche is an inch wide and a mile deep. So in my industry, I see people showing pictures like this one here. That's a beautiful venue. But it looks better when it's filled with people, when it's an actual ceremony and you show me what's going on. Or this deck would be nice and a nice view, but it's not a wedding unless that's there. But the same thing here. Here's Scott McCain's site. Now, I had mine done without knowing that Scott has this, and maybe he didn't have that when I started doing this as well. But Scott and I are using the same principle, which is show me the audience. The audience engaged in watching what you're doing there. Right? Here's Jason Hewlett. Same thing. Show me the people there. Show me what's going on. Right? Here's Terry Brock. Right? So there's Terry with his iPad standing in front of there. Right? Now, number 4 was to show the result of doing business with you. Number 5 is, can we make those photos when they get there, can we make them actionable? So here you have Meet Terry right here on the photo. Get Terry at the top right over there. Notice his phone number is there as well. I'm sure you can click that and dial. See at the top, click here to see how we can bring live energy to your virtual event. Right there on the site. And then this Meet Terry button was over there. Fripp, right? Complimentary presentation and sales resources. The ways Patricia Fripp can help you. Right there. These are actionable because we see the picture first, so put words there, Put links there, make it so they can take action right from there. Tim Guard, same thing. Book Tim now, watch Tim in action. So you have the words, you have the picture, you see Tim, but you also have it actionable right there. Now, those are things that you should have on your site, add to your site. What about things you should take away from your site? What are things that maybe it's time to, our websites become like our attic or our garage. Stuff goes in, but it never comes out. What's some of the stuff to take away here? One of these days I'm going to stop saying this, but because I found a site just recently that had Flash content on it again, I'm going to keep this in here until I stop seeing that. We used to, you go back 5, 6, 7 years ago, and you had all your video was done in Flash. Ooh, is it in Flash? Ooh, cool, it's in Flash. The problem with Flash as a way to load video content is iPhones don't play them. iPads don't play them. And since a lot of your mobile traffic is coming in on those devices, this is something else your Google Analytics can show you, 64% of this site's mobile traffic was coming in on iPhones or iPads. Site that has Flash on it, not going to play. Not going to play at all. So if there's any video on your site, any legacy video that's still there, again, like your garage or your attic, it's still there somewhere, it's in Flash, you have to change that. This is what happened. That was the site I showed you earlier. No Flash player. It looks like you don't have Flash player installed because I can't. It won't play on my device. So make sure there's no Flash content on your site. Again, look how much of your traffic is mobile. This again over here, this was 12 months. The other was 90 days. So over 90 days, my site was 28.9% mobile. Over 12 months, it's 30.5. It's not that much. Number 2, music or sound that plays automatically. There was a time when we all thought, hey, let's have music here. Let's have sound. There's me speaking and you hear me talking right away. Do you like that as a consumer? No. Now, depending upon who your audience is, if you have music or sound play and your audience is at work looking at your site, but they're not supposed to be there. So in my case, if you're a wedding venue or a wedding photographer or a DJ and your customer is at work looking at wedding stuff instead of doing work, the sound coming out just busted them. Everybody knows. Speakers just start blaring with Pachelbel's Canon. Everybody knows that you're at work. But the reality is this. I don't care what industry you're in. Nobody needs music to play on their website as ambiance. Because if I wanted to hear music when I'm looking at your website, I'd have my headphones in and I'd be listening to the music I want to listen to, not the one you want. So music or sound that plays automatically, no good. Let them choose to turn it on. Here's a stat for you. 80% of Facebook videos are watched with the sound off. So even when there is sound, people are not choosing to turn it on. That's why captions, I've started to add captions to most of my videos that have speaking in them for Facebook and for other social, even on my website. So music or sound that plays automatically, gone. Video that plays automatically is fine as long as the sound doesn't play automatically. So if your video plays, a lot of people have that. Here's you on stage, here's you doing your thing over there. That's great. Don't have sound over there. We will see the image. We'll read the text. We don't want the sound going on there. Same thing with long videos. I remember, so let's see, I've been out of my full-time working for somebody else for 10 years. Back then, a little more than 10 years ago, we were looking at, you better keep your videos to under 3 or 4 minutes. Keep them under 3 or 4 minutes. Three or four is good, but anything longer than that's no good. And then all of a sudden it was, no longer than 3 minutes. And then it was, maybe 2.5, 2 minutes. And then Instagram says, hey, a minute, that's it, you're done. Anything more than a minute, you have to put it on Instagram TV. Long videos, nobody wants to watch them. A really good thing to do is to have someone that hasn't seen your video watch it and you just watch them and see when they start to lose interest. When do their eyes start to go elsewhere in the room? Take a look at that. I have some 90-second videos I've seen people watching, and after a minute, you start losing them already. Now, we have the attention span of a gnat, I guess, these days, but you want to have, if you have only long videos, you want to have some short ones there and then let them see longer ones later. Now, this one's a little controversial for some people. Social media links that are too prominent on your website, I would like you to either downplay them or get rid of them altogether. Now, why? We know that social is important, right? It is. But social's job is to get someone to contact you. They're already at your website. Why would I send you backwards to go to LinkedIn, to go to Facebook, to go to Instagram, to go to Twitter, to go to TikTok, to go, right? Why would I send you away from your website where you have an exclusive audience to the place where every other speaker, trainer, and coach is? Doesn't make any sense. You're there. I have 11,800 Instagram followers. There is not a single link on my website to Instagram. You want to find me on Instagram, you can find me very easily. But there is no link on my site. The only links on my site for social, as a matter of fact, are sharing links. If you're reading an article and you want to share that with your connections, you can share it. But you know how sharing works. The window pops up, you type in what you want to type, it goes away. You never left my website. There are no links to send you to other places, except maybe buying a ticket or buying a book or something like that. But social, no links over there altogether. You take a look at this site here. This was a wedding planner, and at the bottom of her site, she had awards and things here. And then she had this huge, big blue F there for Facebook. I was like, gosh, it's as big as these other links here. It must be, really prominent for her. And I went, and she hadn't posted in 4 months on Facebook. Why would you have that big of a link if you haven't posted in 4 months on Facebook? So, first of all, if you're going to have any links, downplay them. Second, don't send me to places that you're not active just to be like, hey, I'm hip, I'm cool, I have these links, right? This is a woman here. I was doing a consult with her. She's a sommelier, and she does wine pairings, and she'll do things at events. It's very cool. And she has up here, look at all these links. Facebook, Google Plus, which you need to get rid of those because that's gone. Twitter, Pinterest, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Flickr. And I said, how many of those are you actually active on? And she said maybe 3 or 4. I said, then get rid of the other ones. Just don't show me those. And then on mobile, look how much room it was taking up. Look at where the menu is. The menu is 2/3 of the way down the screen, which means you get to her site on mobile, and before you even see the pictures, all of that other stuff was there. I blocked out her logo there, right? With all this stuff up at the top. It should all just go. Make it go away. Now, here's a question for you. How many competitors do you have on your website? And I'm sure most of you are thinking that you don't have any. How many YouTube videos do you have on your website? Which, by the way, if you have videos that you want people to see, they should be embedded in your website. Don't send me to YouTube, because I am 1 click away from dancing cats when I am at YouTube. So don't send me to YouTube. Let me see these videos on your site. And what happens at the end of the video? If I see a YouTube video, I'm going to scroll right to the end of that timeline and see if this happens at the end. Because every single person that watches that video is going to get a different set of mosaic tiles at the end based upon their history of what they've watched on YouTube. Right? You think everybody will see the same thing, but they won't. They'll see this unless you tell it to go to another video or tell it to go to the beginning. And I was talking the other day, I did a webinar. I had hundreds of people on this webinar about websites, and somebody said, I can't find the code anymore on YouTube. They've hidden it where you tell it to go back to the beginning or tell it to go to another video. It used to be real easy. It was just like a checkbox, tell it what to do, which is why I use Vimeo to load videos onto my site. I put the videos up on YouTube for searchability because YouTube is the second biggest search engine, sometimes the biggest. But on my site, all the videos that are there are from Vimeo. I can tell it exactly what I want it to do. Go to another video, go to the beginning, go to a call to action, can tell it exactly what to do. So it's way easier that way. But take a look. If you have any YouTube videos, play them to the end and then see what happens. And if you get that mosaic, you want to change that because they click on any of those tiles, they're now watching another video. I actually had one of my clients whose competitor came up in one of those windows, and you clicked it, and now we were watching his competitor's video on his website. So make sure that it's not doing this. And then contact forms. The goal of the contact form is to get someone to contact you. But statistically, every field you add to the form, less people will fill it out. So realistically, you only want to have on there just the things that you need to start a conversation. So think about this for a second. If someone called, right? If someone called Marquita, right? You wouldn't have any information, but you'd have to talk to them, right? You'd get the information in your conversation. Why on a contact form would you have them fill out their address and all kinds of where the meeting's going to be and the time and all this kind of stuff? I've seen forms. You've probably seen forms like that as well. Statistically, every field you add, less people will fill it out. And every field you take away, more people will fill it out. So try to have as few fields as possible just to start the conversation. I use Salesforce as my CRM, and my contact form on my website is actually a Salesforce coding. So when they fill it out, it goes right into Salesforce. So there are a couple of more fields on mine that I would like to have. I could probably cut them off, but by the time somebody's looking for me, that one field or two fields is probably not the issue. Over here, forms like this one on the screen here, those are just ridiculous anymore. Besides, you don't need to ask their phone number and their fax number and their home number and their cell number and all kinds of things like that. And you don't need their mailing address today. I'm not saying you'll never need this information. You just don't need it to start a conversation. Okay, so those are things to take away. What are some of the things we should add? So, testimonials and reviews. Remember, social proof, probably the best way to talk to someone and tell them that how you're different. To talk about what makes you who you are and what makes you unique is found in your reviews and testimonials. If you're not asking for reviews and testimonials, you are missing out on the content you need for your website, for your marketing pieces. Here, I'll show you. I showed you this one before that's got my avatar on it. These are testimonials here. Okay? Here's another one. I tell my clients, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. On the back, marketing information, testimonials over there. And by the way, if you're a bourbon drinker like me, this is what you can do with the tops of the bourbon bottles when you're done. Here's another one that I give my clients. Ambiguous next steps, produce ambiguous results, testimonials on the back again. All right? So, where to use them is the key here. Too many people bury them on a testimonials page. The problem with that is nobody looks at them. They don't look at them because they know that you only put the good stuff there. Why would I go to your Love Fest page where I know you only put good stuff when I'm on another page here? I'm not going to go into your Love Fest page. Look at your analytics report. It will show you. I have 3 pages on my site where people can post reviews. I have 15 different URLs that can direct them there. ReviewAlanBerg.com, alanberg.reviews, reviewmyconsulting.com, reviewmytraining.com. I even have review my MP3s, review my DVDs. Reviewmybooks.net goes to Amazon, so they can post me an Amazon review. But I have a page on my site that has 800 comments on it, and it is one of the least viewed pages on my website because the only people go there are the people that go to comment. Those are the only ones that go there. Other people don't go there. They don't go there to read them. So you want to put them everywhere. So again, here's Tim's site. You have right over here, Tim Gard was evaluated as the best speaker we've ever had. Well, they can say that, US Bank, right? And I love the attribution as well. I like to add cities and state to the attribution because, or in my case, city, state, and country, because it shows where you do business as well. But Tim can't, well, maybe Tim could say this because Tim could say a lot of stuff the rest of us can't. But Tim was evaluated as the best speaker we've ever had. For Tim to say, hey, I've been evaluated as the best speaker they ever had is a little pompous, but US Bank can say that. Fripp over here. For 20 years, I've hired Patricia Fripp to train and coach sales teams with amazing success. Fripp VT in a combination with in-person training and coaching is an unbeatable combination. For 20 years, they've hired her. Fripp can't say anything that supports better than this company hiring her for 20 years. She can say, companies have hired me for 20 years, but better if they say it over there. All right, here's Shep Hyken. All right, he has these on his site here. Again, notice one sentence, right? A couple of these a little bit longer. Take a look at them on mobile. See how this reacts on mobile. That's what I would say to Shep to do here. And then again, Anheuser-Busch, he's got companies that you know, big companies that you know. For a lot of us, they aren't companies that people know. In which case, put down the company, maybe put their industry if that's important for you. In my case, I put down their name, their company, their city, state, or their country. That's what I put on mine. All right, so here you go over here. If anyone in the wedding industry knows as much as Alan, they've not been found yet. I can't say that, but Dean Piccarelli can. Alan's teachings apply to every age group, every business level, and every person in the sales industry. Jessica can say that. All right, for me to say that, it's self-serving, but for them to say it, and notice I have Manalapan, New Jersey, Cheshire, Connecticut. Over here again, you can see the tabs here. This is my 3rd time listening to @AlanBerg, so this is an Instagram post. I take stuff off of Instagram. Here's another one here. He gets to the point with tons of examples and shows real life scenarios. He did his homework. I was so impressed. There you go, California. So all throughout my site, think of these like speed bumps. You go down the road, you're driving, there's a speed bump. What do? Slow down. You don't stop. You slow down. You keep going. That's what I use these as. Little speed bumps. You look at my site, you're going to see these all over the place again and again and again. Notice the call to action below it. Notice the buttons over there as well. Testimonials for video. Video testimonials are hugely important these days because people love video. Instagram loves video. Facebook said that video is taking over and it soon will take over in terms of the content. Video content gets more engagement. So I have video testimonials. If I'm in an event, we're all carrying a high definition camera in our pocket these days, right? Have a good microphone. I have 3 different kinds. My favorite's the lavalier, plugs into the iPhone. Clip it on, you get great sound. I have a handheld. I'll give it to speakers to do, but I won't give it to a lot of other people because, they drop their hand and they start waving at you like, they're anointing you. Or this one here, this is a little shotgun mic. Plugs into the iPhone to the lightning adapter over there. Takes the sound mostly in front. It's not as good as the professional ones. It does pull in sound from the sides, but it cuts out what's behind you a little bit. So a lot of these are convenient. This one in the lavalier can just go into a pocket or a purse. It's nice and convenient there. This was one that I have on my speaking page. You go through, there's a few seconds of him, a few seconds of her. Notice there's the handheld. Now, she works for an entertainment company, so obviously she knows how to use it there. Notice the mic flag. So the little thing around the mic has my logo on it. $10 on Amazon, you can get the blank mic flag. Slides up onto a microphone, yours or somebody else's. Those are 2x4-inch shipping labels. I printed on a laser printer with my logo, covered it with clear packing tape. I've laminated it now. Somebody holds that microphone, it's got my logo on it. And the mic is called an iRig, I-R-I-G. Again, plugs into your phone. You might need an adapter for an iPhone for it, but that's it. And then the call to action. So after they see this 1 minute, if this is the kind of reaction you want your audience to have, call, text, or email Alan, right? So that's testimonials. I do have others. Let me go back to that for 1 second. Zoom testimonials. Let me give you a little tip on this. Matter of fact, we might even do this at the end here. With Zoom, depending upon the version that you have, it does recordings, but it records, like right now, it's recording the slides by themselves. It's recording me as a speaker by myself, and then it's recording with the gallery view and all the speaker and the slides together, right? All these things together. Well, what I do at the end of my training sessions is I have the gallery of people, but I ask them, I said, okay, before you go, just give me 30 seconds and just tell me about your experience today. And when they're talking, they become the main speaker window in that recording. So now I'm able to take those Zoom recordings and turn them into video testimonials and put them together. And then I go to rev.com, R-E-V.com, and I have the captions made, put the captions on, and now I can put them on Facebook, put them on Instagram, put them on my website. So now you have this video testimonial of a remote presentation like I would used to do with the live presentations. Okay. Number 2, photos that show the results of doing business with you. Here's Brad Montgomery. Again, he's showing the audience. Look at the faces of the audience. That's the result of hiring him. Right? Elaine Pasqua. Same thing over here, right? Look at Elaine. Look at that. This is the results of hiring you. This is different than, hey, look at me on stage. And that's why when I do a stage photo, it's always from behind. It's not from in front because I don't want it to be, hey, look at this guy up on stage. I want it to be about this. Now, it's tougher with the training, right? Training is tougher. I've had pictures taken. They're not very exciting. I've had pictures taken. This little mastermind day I was doing, right? So I do these instead. When I'm doing a mastermind day, I'll do this, do the selfie, just show the people are happy to be there with me. That one, as opposed to this one, which is us sitting around a table looking at our computers, that's a better picture. And Ron knows I love my selfies. And then again over here, right? This picture with the audience looking at you, same thing like this, right? And then like this. And then I added this on here. So now it shows that virtual presentations and training. I added a tab for that. Go back here a second. You see the menus at the top? This was in 2019. There was no virtual presenting. Not that I didn't do it, but it wasn't a separate page. And then all of a sudden, virtual training and presenting is a separate page right there. Ghosting masterclass is a separate one. Services that I've added because of COVID, same picture, able to still work with that. Captions on your photos. Take every opportunity to add a little bit more text that adds SEO power to your site. Because Google doesn't care if it's a caption on a photo or if it's text on the page. It's text. It's still there. A testimonial that you put on your page, those words are also counted as towards your search engine optimization. And yes, the title tags and all that stuff matters as well, but I like user optimization, which are the things the user sees and the user is going to do. So here's a client of mine, they show these pictures, and instead of having a gallery of just pictures, put a caption underneath each picture. And in his case, they add the keywords for wedding vows and Catholic wedding ceremony, plus cities and states. These are some from my website. So I have a picture over here. Alan's a regular featured keynote speaker at major conferences. Keynote, featured speaker, right? And then I love when people post stuff like this on social. People taking notes while we're speaking. So I took one of those pictures and put a caption, how many pages of notes will you take in your consulting session? And then, of course, where my book is, it doesn't just say buy the book. It's here, Alan's much anticipated book, Wisdom in the Business of Weddings, available in, click to get paperback, click to get Kindle, etc. Same thing over here. This is on my resources page, another new page that I've added on. You have an image there, have a little caption as well. Number 4, short videos. This is tough for us. We're speakers, right? Even a TED Talk, right? TEDx talks are 6 minutes to 6 to 18 minutes there. We're trying to look for those 1 and 2 minute videos. The goal of the video is to get them to want more. The goal of the video is to say, hey, I like that. Let me see more. So you could have a short video and then say, if you'd like to see a longer version of this, click here, but start with the short videos. So something that I've done with COVID is I've added these services, remote training, remote sales training with testimonials. So this video over here is a 2-minute video. Here's group sales conversion workshop, 1 minute 39. And then here's the group website review workshop, only 1 minute 13 seconds. Cutting them down, cutting them down, cutting them down so somebody could see that, goes to a call to action at the end. Short contact form. What if you added a short contact form onto every page of your website? Remember what I said on my website, they don't have to leave my site to contact me, even though there is a contact page, which, by the way, if you have a contact page, which you should, it should be the last thing on the menu on the top right-hand side, because that's where people expect to see it. We look to the top right, oh, there's the contact. That's where we expect to see it. So make sure yours is where people would expect it to be so that there's no friction when it comes to that. So here on my speaking page, you can see the contact form right there. And when you have a contact form, don't just put the contact form and say, contact us. Tell me why. Tell me why I'm contacting you. Contact Alan about speaking, a mastermind day, a website review, business consultation, or private sales training. Complete this short form or text. If you click that on your phone here, it will open up a text, or call Alan directly. If you click that, it will dial me. And then the contact form is right there. The fields are nice and big. It's right there on mobile, easy to use. I have clients who have added a short contact form to most of their pages and seen their inquiries go up because someone is there and now they can get there. And the other thing that I do on my site is I tell you to use the short form on this page. So let's see, you see my mouse over here, right over here. It says contact me via email, text, use the short form on this page or call. And no matter where you are on the page, if you click that, it takes you to the form. Because that form on the right-hand side on desktop is at the bottom on mobile. So it doesn't matter what you're using. You click it, it'll either take you up or down, whatever it needs to do to get you to that form. Calls to action, right? This is from Fripp's site. I love step 1, step 2, step 3. I've done this with many of my clients. Even if they have 7 steps, we kind of cut it down to 3 or 4 steps. Having your team sell more in less time and have more fun doing it as easy as 1, 2, 3. Boom, boom, boom. There you go. 1, 2, 3. Oops, sorry, went too far here. And then calls to action in text. Tell me why I'm contacting you. So I had here, if this sounds like the kind of reaction you want your audience to have, contact me to discuss data availability and pricing via email, text, use the short form on this page, or call. They're all actionable. All those words in orange are actionable. And then with your buttons, make sure the buttons, they know where they're going to go. read more and learn more is too ambiguous. And if you can go back to that sign I showed you before, ambiguous next steps bring ambiguous results. Don't be ambiguous. Tell me what I'm going to see when I get there. Tell me what's going to happen when I click on that. Add me to the list. Contact our team. Request an appointment. Pricing, right? Want to know more? Just ask. It's very clear as opposed to learn more, read more. Plus, if every button says learn more, right? I don't know what I'm going to learn if they all say the same thing. So when should you be planning your next website? Now, right? What's the old adage? When's the best time to plant the tree? 20 years ago? What's the second best time? Now. So you should be planning your next website while you're updating your current site. I hope that none of your sites you feel like, I need to scrap it right away. Some of these tips is really all you need to do now. And then this comes right out of the Facebook laboratory. Done is better than perfect. We all know the people that are paralyzed because they can't get it perfect, so they don't do anything. I'm not going to launch it yet, Ron. Ron, I'll launch it when it's perfect. It's not perfect yet. No, launch it and then make it better, and then make it better, and then make it better. So, Ron, you want to go to questions first or review websites first?
Actually, we were wondering if you wouldn't mind. Let's take like 5 minutes real quick for people
Sure.
to fill up their cups, and then we'll come back. We'll do Q&A, and then we can get into review without interruption. So
Sure.
just I'm showing it's 9:54. Let's say it's 9:55. Everybody, if you could be back here at 10, or you can just hang out and we can all just kind of talk to Alan for the next few minutes.
Sure.
Whatever you'd like to do, but definitely be back in front of your computer within 5. If I see everybody back earlier, we'll start earlier. Looks like we don't have that many participants right at this moment anyway. So, so I'm like excited to get to the Q&A part.
Oh, and Ron, since you did approve cookies on my site.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I think it's funny. I saw somebody, I think it was Jay Acunzo one day. He posted on Twitter. He goes, "Can we just have a blanket? Yes, I approve cookies
Everywhere."
I mean, and be done with it. I don't even know. Do you actually have to put that on your site or?
Yes. So in my WordPress template, I think had it where I could just turn it on.
Okay.
No. I'm sorry. It was to be, especially since I speak around the world and I have people coming in from around the world, I needed to have that on for GDPR, whatever Europe is. It was a plugin, a WordPress plugin I added to my site, and that was it. Works fine. You know, once you're at the site and you approve it, but when you come back, I think it asks you to do it again. So it is a little annoying, but those are the web rules these days.
So I just saw that one of our members, Kerry Phillips, is returning he's leaving 80-degree Tampa to come to Two Below, Kansas City. He said he decided maybe he could go ahead and put his sandals away. He wouldn't need them.
It's amazing. I mean, I haven't traveled in 11 months, but how many people I would see in airports going to cold locations wearing like flip-flops. You know, coming out of Mexico, whatever, and they were in shorts, a tank top, and flip-flops. First of all, planes get chilly, right? I'm sorry, planes get chilly. But then you know you're going to -2 when you get there, and I guess you could change, but man, I get cold on planes, and I'm long sleeves, long pants, and you know.
Have you ever just wanted to dress like you're traveling and go hang out at the airport for like a couple of hours? Just show up and, sit there reading your paper or whatever and
go to the United Lounge. I don't know.
Yeah, just go to the lounge.
I don't know. Can you get through? You probably can't get through security anymore. But it's funny. I have the American Express Platinum card for the international lounges. And I called them up because my renewal came up and it's $550 a year. And I was like, I don't need to spend $550 a year because I just don't know when I'm going to be in a lounge again, right?
Right.
And I called them up and they gave me a $500 credit.
Wow.
So it's costing me $50 a year. And I did the same with my gold card, my personal gold card. I was like, I have another Amex card that doesn't cost me anything. Do I need to spend, what do we have the rose gold card, the metal rose gold card. And it's $250 a year or whatever. And they say, well, if you spend, I forget what it was, a couple of $1,000 or $1,500 over the next 3 months or next month, whatever it was, we'll give you a $150 credit. It's like, okay, So we're going to do that anyway. So I just charged everything on that card and did it. So they don't want you to get rid of it.
That's what I've been doing. With our Disney card, man, is everything, because we get points back on our Disney credit cards, and
Sure.
so we've just been charging everything to it, groceries. It doesn't matter. It's going on. So during the pandemic, we have accumulated like $1,300 in.
Yeah. Well, we did most of the gift cards for our nieces and nephews for the holidays. We did on Amex points. And of course, the post office had them get to us in January, so that was very nice. No, I'm sorry. The post office had them get to us right around Christmas. We sent them out right away, and it took like 2 or 3 weeks to get to the kids. It was crazy. But I downgraded my Marriott card to one with no annual fee, so I don't get I had already gotten my free room night, and I said, "Oh, you're going to take that back?" And they said, "No, you can keep that." So now it cost me nothing for this next year. I got rid of my Hilton, whatever one that gave me diamond status, because I'm not going to hotels. So I'll pick them back up again later. Why not? And then I have to call Sirius XM because every year they give me a good rate every year, and then every year they automatically are going to renew me to a much higher rate, and I call them up, and then they bring it back down again. So we have to do our dance.
Yeah, it's funny. I just recently canceled. I've been a customer of Sprint since 2002. Before Sprint was even Sprint, it was Aerial, which I don't know if you remember Aerial. Aerial was per second billing back in the day, and that was a big deal because instead of being rounded up, it was all per second.
Right.
Sprint bought Aerial, and I've been a customer since 2002. Well, my wife and I found a better deal recently through Comcast to move our phones over to them. And saving quite a bit of money per month. And I went to unlock my phones with Sprint so I could make the change. Told them I was going to be making the change. Not one person asked me why. Nobody. Then after we changed service, I got a survey email from Sprint that read that the subject line read, "We heard you. Please fill out this survey."
We heard you
and
say
it's
nothing.
like, now you're asking me. I've already changed.
We heard you. Yeah.
I'm not changing back.
We
But
heard
the same
you.
thing. The same thing happened with our heating and air conditioning people. We've been on a contract with them forever. We changed to another company. They never even said boo to the whole thing. It was like, okay, I guess churn is expected. So
Yeah.
let's see.
I'll tell you, Chase has also been great. We've been getting monthly fees on our accounts because our balances haven't been as high as they've been in the past.
Yeah.
And I call them up every month, and they have waived them. They've refunded them every month.
All right.
Three different accounts. Yeah.
All right. So it's 10 o'clock. Matt's not quite back yet. Oh, there he is. Matt, do you want me to take Q&A or do you want to take it?
So we've got some Q&A in the chat, and we have a few websites that
Okay.
we'd like to have you look at, Alan.
Okay.
So let me just kind of start here at the top here. I think one of the first sites we'll look up here is Carlos. He's I don't know if he's back yet. Oh, there he is. Okay. So Dorinda has a question, and then we can move into Carlos' site. Dorinda says, "What do you think about hiring someone like Main Street Host to get folks to find you?" And I'm not quite sure if Main Street is a.
I got the microphone on that.
Yeah, Dorinda, you got to give us a little more information. What is Main Street Host?
They look at your site and then come up with the words that you need to use for people who are looking on Google.
Oh,
and
SEO.
it's supposed make sure your website has all those
Right.
attractions for people to find you,
SEO.
and then they charge you for that.
Right. So search engine optimization. So let's talk
Yes.
about this for a second.
Yes.
There's SEO, search engine optimization, and then there is UXD, which is user experience design. I pay more attention to UXD, user experience design, because no matter how somebody gets to your website, it has to function well, it has to look good, it has to do the things they want. Search engine optimization means this. Someone goes to a search engine looking for someone who does something like what you do. That's what search engine optimization is. Because if I knew I needed Carlos, or if I knew I needed Dorinda, I would go look for Dorinda, or I would go look for Carlos, or I'd look for Bob or Bonita. But search engine optimization means I'm looking for a speaker, a coach, a whatever it is you do, and those words and phrases have to appear on your website, otherwise you won't come up in a search result. So there is a good advantage of having somebody go to your site. You have to explain to them, these are the people I'm looking for. They have to come to you and say, well, these are the most popular words and phrases that people who are looking for that use when they go searching. Let's make sure they're on your website. Let's make sure your title tags and your meta tags and your metadata and things like that are right. And what that means is if you go to a website and you hover over the tab at the top that has the website, it's going to come up with some words. That's a title tag. Every photo on your site has a file name. Well, that file name could be 1564273.jpg. That's not helping me at all, but if it was Dorinda-Nicholson-speaker-1465, now all of a sudden your name is up there again, and the word speaker, and then if you wanted to put your industry and stuff like that. So what I agree with is it's a good idea to have somebody go through your site. It's, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, not really a good idea that you would pay somebody every month to do that. Because I can't imagine that any of us here have things that change so much that next month the keywords that somebody's looking for are going to be that different than they were last month. And if they've done their job, what else are they going to do next month? Now, do you want to have them come back 6 months later? Maybe. You want to have it done once a year? Maybe. I had it done once. That's it. Once. I write for my audience. Therefore, I use the keywords that my audience would use to find me. Because here's what I do, Dorinda. I'm really not looking for people who are going to Google to find me unless they're looking for me specifically. I would rather someone was looking for Alan Berg than looking for a speaker, right? Now, truth be told, I got interviewed a few times last year because reporters looked for someone who was an expert on the business of weddings, and my site came up. Good. Okay. I don't know how many times it didn't come up. I just know that it did for these people, and they contacted me. So what I spend my efforts doing, my time and my money, is being everywhere that my audience would look for me so that they can find me. So if somebody says, if Matt says, hey, you want to come on my podcast, and he's in my industry, yes. Clubhouse is this new app you might have heard of. I go on people's clubhouses. I go on Facebook Lives, right? I will do that to get in front of audiences so that they're looking for me. But to pay somebody every month to do SEO, I've never seen the value in that because it doesn't change. Not for our business. There are some businesses it might make sense. I don't think it makes sense for us because what changed? What changed since last month? Okay?
Thank
All
you.
right. Ron asked here, WordPress versus Wix. Okay. 25% of the world's websites are powered by WordPress. That's what I've heard. Google loves WordPress. It's very easy for it to index it, and so forth. The interface on Wix was easier to use than the interface on a WordPress site. I say was because there are a lot of back ends now, a lot of editing suites where you can edit WordPress and it looks pretty much the same as it does on Squarespace or on Wix or any of those now. I still prefer WordPress because there's just thousands of people that could do WordPress changes and do alterations. So if you're looking for a template, you want to look for a template that's flexible, that will let you make changes as you go along. You want to look for one if you're going to buy a template. So I go to a place called themeforest.com. And when you're buying a template, you want to look and see how many instances of this template have been bought already. And if it's thousands of them, there's a pretty good chance that that developer is going to keep supporting that. If it's 16, I don't know that I want to be the beta here. I don't know that I want to be the test dummy on this one here. And then look and see how many other themes that developer has. If you have somebody that has a whole bunch of themes with thousands of downloads, they're going to be around and support it. And you're going to get the updates and stuff like that. So those are the things I look for. The theme is cheap. I think I paid $60, $70 for my theme. I've been using it for 5 years. And then you can do plugins and things to add into it to make it even do more. So as long as it's flexible. But WordPress, Wix, Squarespace, places like that, It doesn't make a lot of difference. Some people will say there's some SEO difference and stuff. I just like the fact that my WordPress site, I have a guy. Well, I live in Jersey, so you have to have a guy, right? So I have a guy. He happens to be in Virginia. And if I get to the point where I was like, I don't know how to do that, I just email Ben and I say, hey, Ben, could you do this for me? Ben does it. I said, send me a bill. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. Done. Right? So I like WordPress for that reason. Okay. Ron said only Vimeo, that's new. So again, if you can figure out on YouTube how to tell it not to do the mosaic at the end, then do that. Otherwise, put your videos up on YouTube, put all the descriptions and all that. I've heard that on YouTube, a lot of people search both YouTube and Google in forms of questions. So if you can title your videos in terms of a question that somebody's looking for, how do I, whatever, a lot of people are looking that way. Let's see. All right. Did anybody else have a specific question? Oh, I see. Benita saying some people want a mailing address to send a card out from Carta or something. Yes, I don't deny that at all. I'm saying statistically, every field you add to a form, less people will fill it out. And I know that for a lot of people, asking their mailing address when they're just making an inquiry is intrusive to them. Now, for a company, people are probably going to give you that stuff, right? They'll probably give you that. But it depends on who your audience is. I did just recently come across a company. I'm actually going to test this with my site, company out of California. And they are able to get mailing addresses of the people that visit your website anywhere from maybe 20 to 50% of the time. So imagine if, Bob, you came to my website and you didn't fill out my contact form. I could have a postcard go out in the mail to you today. So that's cool. Now, is it, I don't know how personalized, I don't know if I can do mail merge fields. I think I can and stuff like that. But I'm going to test it. And it's like $1.35 or $1.50 each or something like that. It's not a lot of money. But imagine now, you came to my website. That's all you did. Right? You read the article on my page, and then you get a postcard in the mail. Pretty cool. So I'm going to be testing that. And I didn't have to ask you the address. But you only get, and you can, by the way, you can decide which pages on your website that get sent cards and which don't. And if you came to my speaking page, I could have you sent a different card than if you came to my website review page. So it's a cool idea there. All right. That's it for questions?
Yeah, one more.
All right.
Alan.
Okay, so now, Carlos, you were the first one to volunteer to be a victim here, right?
Bob, did you have a question?
I did.
Oh, what's that? How do you find a oh, that was Dorinda. Where's Bob?
No, I just had it. I didn't put it in the chat box.
Oh, what's your question?
I just real quick on, do you have a rule of thumb on a web page in general about the amount of text? Sometimes I go and it's like a manuscript and I'm like, I just don't want to read all that.
Right.
How do you look at that?
Well, according to Google, they still like something like 2,600 words on a page. That's a lot of words, especially on mobile. However, there's two things you're describing there, Bob. One is the amount of text, and the second is how is it laid out. And I think you can lay out that manuscript so that it's more inviting to read. You know, if it's just text and text and text with no pictures and no headlines and no, it's going to be, all right, we're done here, which is why you want to have calls to action throughout. So I'll show you some of the things on some of the sites we look at, as well as my site, to show you how we can do that.
Great, thank you.
Or you can get me to write it, Bob, because I'm known for being overly wordy. So
there you go. Dorinda, how do you find a web developer or do your own? Well, if you want to do it yourself, I'm sure there's no shortage of places out there to give you tutorials on how to do it. Depending upon the time frame you want to have it done, and of course, budget is always a factor. You'll probably get it done faster if you have somebody else do it, unless you need something simple. We have a friend and again, I don't make websites. I did make my own, but I don't make them for other people. We have a friend who's a physical therapist, and she went out on her own, and we went to GoDaddy and got her a domain name, and GoDaddy has a web builder, and I built her a website while she was standing next to me. I mean, literally, the only thing we didn't have was photos, which we then did a photo shoot because we wanted people with masks on and stuff like that. But we did a photo shoot. Actually, I could probably pull it up. I did the website while she was standing next to me. It's really a matter of the content. I'll tell you this, Dorinda, whether you make the site or you have someone make it, you still have to give them the content. Right? It's not up to your web developer to write your content. There's three brains you need to make a website. You need a technical brain to make it strong. And that's why using WordPress or something like that, you're already getting that good foundation in there, right? Good template, all that. You need a design brain so it looks attractive, right? So we look at it and go, oh, that looks nice, right? And by the way, you're designing for the audience, not for yourself. And then you need a marketing brain, because now we need it to do what you want it to do. Because the goal of your website is not to get them to say that's a pretty website. And by the way, the goal of your website is not to have everybody else here tell you they like your website. The goal of your website is to get the people that come, your audience, to contact you so you can do business with them. That's the goal of the site. So you need those three brains, the technical brain, the design brain, and the marketing brain to make it work. But no matter who makes it, like the sites that I had made before, they still needed me to give them the pictures. They needed me to give them the text. Now, you could have somebody work the text for you. You could have a copywriter work text for you. They still need to get some stuff from you. And they still need the photos from you. So, Dorinda, if you have all the content and you're like, you know what? I'm pretty good with computers. I could probably figure this out. The good thing with some of these sites, you might even do a Wix or a Squarespace or one of these, is a lot of them have templates. So you could literally say, I like that page layout. I'm just going to replace their text with mine. I'm going to replace that picture with mine. And you're halfway there already. And you could do that with, I had never made a GoDaddy website before I made it for my friend. I worked on my WordPress one. Drag and drop, put some text in, headline. Here you go. There you go. It really wasn't that hard. But you also have to not be intimidated by it. Okay? All right. Any other questions? Anybody else?
Hey, I will just jump in here real quick, Alan, and
Yeah.
I haven't said anything before now, but I'm not promoting myself at all, but I am a WordPress developer, and I've done WordPress design for 15 years, but here's the thing, I just want to be a resource for you. I'm also on the leadership for the Kansas City WordPress meetup group, which means we put on the WordCamp 2-day conference in Kansas City. And I'm connected with a lot of freelancers, a lot of people that do WordPress design. If you have questions after Alan's talk and you're looking for someone, I can help match you up. If you're looking for somebody who can help you with your website, I can help you out.
Great. And feel free to call me out if I said anything that wasn't right.
Well,
Right on. Cheering you on, Alan.
I'm not sure who I was listening to.
Yeah, it's Matt Kastner. I'll just pop.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So let's go over here. And let's go over here. All right. All right. So let me, well, Carlos is coming up over here. I'm just going to show you real quick. I want to pull this in just a little bit so I can see you guys a little better. There we go. Got your videos on the side. All right, so here's my site. You saw already a little bit of that. Let me hide these menus here. Menu, hide the menu. There we go. So one of the things I didn't mention is what's called a sticky menu. So you notice the menu bar at the top. It's got About Me, Speaking Topics, all that kind of stuff. When you scroll, it changes from transparent to translucent. I'm sorry, from transparent to opaque. So now, but it's still there, right? It's still there at the top. That's called a sticky menu. And then if you look at it on mobile, I'm going to show you guys a little trick here. This is Google Chrome, but it's in pretty much every browser. If you go to the View menu, or maybe go to Help and go to Search, look for the developer tools. Right? So on Chrome, it's under View, Developer Tools. And now I can simulate what my site looks like on an iPhone 10 or on a Galaxy S5 or on an iPhone 6, 7, 8 or on an iPad even, right? Or a Surface Duo, right? Turn it sideways and now it's landscape. So you can do this. Now, I will caution you that it's pretty close. but it's not exact. On my actual iPhone, I get to about here, right? So it's not showing you quite as much as is there, but as I'm sure Matt will attest, it's pretty good. It gets you close enough to know what does it look like. So once again, look at my site here, right? This big, wide picture up at the top. Look at these words, right? There was that line there before. Here's all these lines. Here's all these one-sentence testimonials. And then you go to mobile. That one-line testimonial is now 4 lines. That one line at the top is now 3 lines. This is responding. It's adapting to the size of this screen. And then if you look at my menu at the top, guess what? It's still there. And my logo's still in there. Now, the difference is on desktop, it says the best way to find out about Alan's speaking, consulting, or sales training right here at the top. Email Alan, text Alan, call Alan. I actually just found a problem. My icons are not showing up. Why not? Let's refresh that and see why not. Oh, okay. Just found a problem there. For some reason, my icons are not showing up. But if you click call Alan, it'll ask if you want to dial. If you click text Alan, you're on a mobile, it'll open up text. If you click email Alan, it opens up an email for you, whatever your default program is there. That's by design. That is not an accident. Some mobile devices, some mobile browsers will see a phone number formatted as a phone number and know that you should be able to click to dial that. If you do it intentionally, you'll be able to do it. So I don't know how many of you make your own changes on your site, but having the phone number be click to dial is as easy as making a link, which is usually you just highlight whatever text it is, and then you say make a link. In this case, if you were to look at the very bottom left corner of the screen, you'll see it says TEL:732-422-6362. That is the code for telling it to dial. If I go to email, it says in the bottom left corner there, you'll see it says mail2, MAILTO, Alan@allenberg.com. That is the code for telling it this is a link to send me an email. Now, I mentioned style guide. The style guide on my site is a white background. Why do I use a white background? Google uses a white background. Amazon uses a white background. My main sites of the companies that my customers would go to use white backgrounds. Light background, darker text, good contrast is what you're looking for. I follow the lead of sites like Google in my industry, Wedding Wire, The Knot, things like that, in terms of the type of font that's used, in terms of the contrast. The day that Google goes to a black site with white text, we're all going to follow. But they're not going to. Well, maybe on Halloween. They might do it on Halloween, but the rest of the year, they might not. So you come down here, everything that's in orange is there in orange to attract your eye. And most of it is links. So this word speaking, sales training, mastermind day, these are all links, right? I added this recently. What did you come looking for today? Use these buttons for quick access to the most popular options. Now they're up in the top menu, but you're not looking in the top menu. You look down. You look from the top left to the bottom right. So I put these buttons there. And then on mobile, there they are. Come down here. Click on the tabs below. Remember I talked about the tabs? So look at this over here. This section right over here. Now it's talking about remote services. Now it's sales training. Now it's mastermind day. Now it's speaking. You don't have to scroll. So Bob, to your point, how do you get all that text over there? This is one way to do it. Right? Now notice the blue color. My site has 2 colors. The main color is orange. The secondary color is blue. You are not going to find purple and brown and any other colors on the site because this is what our style guide is. Besides gray, and my text is not black, it's gray. Besides gray, that's what you're going to find. All right, so that's the tabs. Buttons are important because on mobile, this is your mouse. Your finger or a stylus, that's your mouse. So buttons are important. And then again, look at the calls to action, right? There's a call to action here. There's a call to action here. Every single one of these tabs has a call to action. These are calls to action, right? These words here are actionable. Come down here a little bit lower, right? There's my books. Now remember on desktop, this stuff is off to the side, right? You have the columns over here. So this is the same thing. Here's those tabs. Come down over here, there's the counter. Come down over here, here's the counter. It just stacks instead. This is responsive design. Now, this is something that I do a little different than a lot of other people. You've seen this on sites, right? All the different services somebody offers. I use testimonials as the content. So, and Matt, I don't know if you've seen anybody else doing this, but so here's the headline. That's a click. You can click it. The icon there matches sales training, the button. But then instead of saying, Alan is a sales trainer and Alan can do this for you, it's a quote. I'd say the thing that's different about your sales training over others would be the practical application. Keynote workshop speaker. I heard Alan speak in the UK recently and he really is brilliant. And then the attribution is for the SEO. So this is Graham Jones, CEO of Professional Speakers Association. Now, most people don't know who Graham is, but East Sussex, UK helps me. North Mapleshade, New Jersey. Melbourne, Australia. Washington, D.C. Bend, Oregon. Right? Bend, Oregon, by the way, home of the last Blockbuster store in the world. Just in case you wanted to know. London, UK. So right in this section, I have different countries, I have different industries, I have things, and every part of this is actionable. Click the icon, click the heading, click the words, click here. It'll take you to that page. All right? So that, and remember, look for the keywords. If I, under sales training, they said sales training. Under speaker, he said, I heard him speak, and it says Speakers Bureau over there, right? Website review. Beforehand, I'd been wondering if a website review with Alan was really worthwhile investment. A few hours later, the answer to that question is a resounding yes. What can I write that's better than that? And that's why I love using short testimonials. And then again, another call to action down over here, and then contact again over here. There's probably actual calls to action 7 or 8 times on this page. Actionable items, dozens of them. All right, let me show you just one more thing. Here's that topics page I was talking about. So when you go to the topics page, I don't know why this is taking long. Over here, I have what's called an in-page link. Sometimes there's something further down on the page, but you want them to be able to find it easily. So in this case, it says click to see Alan's speaking topics. If I click this button, it's going to take you to that point on the page. I didn't scroll. It took you there. So Bob, to your point again, if you have a lot of text on there, if you want to see this, it doesn't have to be on another page. It could be someplace else. You just whoop, and there you go. I do the same on my speaking page where my calendar is at the bottom of the page. Click to see the calendar, zip, down to the bottom of the page. So this is, remember I said I had an 11-page PDF? This area here replaced an 11-page PDF. Sales and marketing, success and inspiration, website presentations, social media, right? And then within there are these toggles. And again, this is something I've learned through NSA. I write my topics, put them on my website, title, description, bullets, exactly how they're going to go in their program. And when somebody says, hey, do you have a description of that presentation for us? Here it is. There it is. I actually have one thing else I stole from Patrick Henry. Many of you probably know Patrick Henry. If you go to alanberg.info, it's actually a page on my site, but I have this URL. After somebody hires me, how many times do you get asked, hey, Carlos, you have a headshot? Hey, hey, Bob, do you have a bio? Dorinda, do you have an introduction you want me to read? Right? And you have to find all this stuff. So everything that they need is here. And again, look at the tabs. So here's my speaking introduction. How many times does this happen? Ron, you've seen this many times. You've probably done this for me. 2 minutes before you're about to go on, somebody comes up and says, hi, my name's Ron. I'm going to be introducing you. Is there something you want me to say? Right? What happens? Right? So I say, hey, take out your phone. And let's do it. I'll do it over here. So let's show you on a phone. Take out your phone. Go to alanberg.info. Scroll down. Read that. That's it. Just read that. It's right there. That's the whole introduction. It's right there. I say go in the corner. Read it through 2 times, 3 times, and then go read it on stage. That's it. Done. Because I had somebody, instead of saying that I was one of 800 CSPs in the world, they said, Alan's given 800 presentations around the world. I was like, close enough. That's close enough. And then what else is here? I have a short bio and a full bio. Some people don't give you as much room. I have a short bio. Headshots. Let me show you back on over here. Oh, let me do it again. I'll show you on desktop, be easier. So over here, then I have headshots, and it tells, notice the calls to action over here. I click on an image you'd like to use, then open in a window. You can then right click to save it, right? So it puts over here, right click, they can save it. Just tell them how to use it, all right? I have book covers. Sometimes they're helping promote my books. So I have all five of them in Spanish and so forth. I have social handles. What are your social handles? You get that question? Here they are. How do you want the room set up? What are your AV requirements? alanberg.info. Just one of many URLs. It's just a redirect. It's alanberg.com/info, but alanberg.info right there. And always with a call to action and always with a testimonial, even on a page like this. So that's another use of the tabs. So you can see, Bob, I have a lot of text on a lot of pages, but it doesn't feel it. And then the other thing, go back over here. Let's go to, well, actually, here's one example. So here's text, right, with a call to action. I break it up some with the testimonials visually, and then I went to 2 columns for this part. So now it's just not block of text, block of, that same. And then my testimonials are always indented just a little bit. And I'll show you on a different page. Let's go to speaking. So again, here, text, calls to action. Then there's a video. There's that video I was talking about. Call to action. So, yeah, my icons are not showing up. Hey, Matt, any idea why my icons would disappear?
And it's probably, it may be a CSS thing. If they're loading, is it like a font awesome? I don't know without taking a look in the back end, Alan.
Yeah, no, it's just weird. I would have sworn they were there yesterday. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm sharing the screen. No, it wouldn't have anything to do with that.
Let me see. I'm going to pull it up on a different browser real quick because I'm in Chrome too.
Yeah, it's really weird. And then over here, so here's another example. Notice it says, want to see video samples of Alan speaking. So instead of just putting video window, I put them inside the toggle. You want to see that video? Great. You don't want to see it? That's okay. What do my certified speaking professional and global speaking fellow mean to you? Notice the word you again, right? Click here to read more about the global speaking fellow. Click here to read more about the certified speaking professional. I have a lot of stuff crammed down into these. What kind of presentations can you do for us? Keynotes, workshops, right? By the way, best stage I've ever been on. Opera House in Cartagena, Colombia. Just best stage I've ever been on. 2 presentations in Spanish. Workshops, breakout. Okay, so let's go over here. Carlos, how much of your traffic is mobile?
Right now, this website is, I feel it about 90% done. Right now, I say mobile is where everything is at for me.
Okay, let's pull it up on mobile as well. All right, so first thing, remember, responsive design means it adapts to the screen. It doesn't mean it adapts well. So you look over here. Now, we're not seeing you, right? We're not seeing you coaching. I know that's a tough picture, right? It's like, how do you show you coaching, especially remotely? So make sure that the image relates to what you do. So if this relates to what you do, people are going to be working with spreadsheets and graphs and charts. That's a good image. If it's not, try to make it as close. The other thing is, who is your audience? And I mean, where are they geographic? Actually, there's 3 things when you're trying to figure out your target audience. Geographics, so where are they physically? Demographics, what do you know about them demographically? And then psychographics, right? You're not the only one who does things like what you do. So what is it about what you do that attracts people to that, or how do they think, or what can you tell about them, right? I know that I do well with people. I don't do as well with people who want to know, okay, at 10:15, what are we going to be talking about? At 12:27, what are we going to be talking about? My style is more fluid than that. So that's not a good target customer for me. So that's a psychographic thing as opposed to a demographic or a geographic. So you notice here, nice wide picture over here. Look at your logo though. Can't read it, right? You got to be careful when you put a logo over a photo like that because the colors are very similar. There's not a lot of contrast. You go from against the dark, it works, but the OR and A on my screen, right? This is my screen, Carlos, because every screen is going to be different. Let's go to mobile. Now I can't see the picture, right? All that stuff. Now, this is what happens with responsive design. It's taking the slice. In your case, it's taking the left-hand slice. Sometimes it takes the middle. Yours, it's taking this guy's sleeve in that computer and doing that. Now, Matt, does he have control over changing that, or does it depend upon his template?
Oh, that's totally depend on. Well, you can control it if it's a control that's built into the template or not. That's the question.
Okay, yeah. So, Carlos, you'd want to check on that and see that.
Well, I'm paying a company to do all this work, and I feel like they're not listening to what I'm asking. It's my problem. I'm about to fire them, is what it is.
Okay.
It takes like 3 days for them to respond whenever I ask for a change. And they are not advisors. I wish I had it, and most likely I will be hiring Matt. I need somebody that I can say, here's my vision, and they say, well, let's do this or that or this. Change it.
Right.
But when I call them, they just, okay, send us what you want. And
right. They just want to, they just want, remember I said you need the 3 brains, the technical brain, the design brain, the marketing brain. All right. So another thing I noticed on your site, where's the menu? I don't see a menu. I don't know.
Well, now you're stuck in the landing page. They just put this couple of days ago, this landing page.
Okay.
And to be able to get out of there, you got to scroll up a little more, and then it's a tiny thing that says home. There we go. You're about there.
No, that's as high as I can go.
Well, in my computer right now, or my phone, I can scroll down a little bit. There we go. Right there, it says create an account. There's a home thing right there. It says little home.
You are making that very hard for people to find what they want.
Yeah, this just came out a couple days ago, so I'm finding the same problem.
Yeah. Now, there's certain places you want to be different, and there's certain places you want to be exactly what they expect. They expect a menu bar up at the top to be able to get to what they want. It should be sticky. Again, contact all the way on the right. If I click your logo, it should take me to your home page. Those are just things that it should just do without thinking about it. I click on your logo here, it doesn't take me to your home page. That's frustrating.
Matt, are you hearing all this, Matt?
Yeah, I'm listening.
There you go.
Okay, you and I, best friends forever.
All right. So here you go. And now you say over here, I'm Carlos Vides, right? Business and sales coach. You're introducing yourself, but there's no picture of you, right? There's a disconnect between I'm Carlos. Well, is that you? Is that your hand? Right? Yeah. Now over here, sign up to get amazing deal on our courses. I just got here. I don't even know what your courses are, right? What kind of courses are they? Who is the target audience on those courses? Our courses, that's about you. Sign up to get amazing deal on our courses. So tell me about your courses. Give me 10 seconds. What kind of courses are they?
I do sales training. I train everything to do with sales and relationships.
Right. Sign up to get an amazing deal on our sales training courses is better than our courses because I don't know what your courses are. And Advisory Academy doesn't tell me it's sales training, right? So you have what's called the curse of knowledge. We all have the curse of knowledge. We know what we do. We know how we do it. We know why we do it. Person that comes in here doesn't know that. They need to know where to go. Okay? And then, so this is creating an account, right? Just think about this, Carlos. I just got here. And now you want me to create an account, right? Why would I do that if I have seen you speak somewhere or if I have a prior knowledge, maybe. But creating an account sounds like a high commitment action for someone that just got there to visit your site. So I'm just telling you, I'm not sure that people would do that. And right now, I don't even know where to go. So again, go back to my site, sales training, right? Do you know where to go to find sales training? Yeah, right? Go back to the home page. Here's my home page. I'm your personal sales trainer, right? Sales training. Come over here. Sales training. Right? Webinars, virtual presentations, upcoming workshops, right? Sales training.
Now, if you can get rid of the, in your computer, if you can get rid of the landing page, is what they call it, and go to the home page, it will have a tab that says sales training. There it is. At the top, see, there is a sales training.
Training, right. Again, I like, if it's sales training, I like sales training because it's more clear. But then again, look at the words again. You're losing advisor, you're losing this against that white background. Let me go see it on, mobile. Okay, let me refresh that just to see. Okay, if this is what's doing on mobile, hey, Matt, you have to fix that for him because if, I don't know, you might want to look on a real phone to see if it's doing that, but it's just taking that header and shrinking it now, and you can't read that at all. All right.
And I pay almost $3,000 for this job, okay? So you know. All
right, so 22 years sales and marketing, 22 years of profession. It doesn't read well. 22, it looks like 22 sales and marketing. Years of professional. It's very disjointed. Yeah. Got a lot of animations going here. Okay, so now you have book now. People come to your site. Some people are ready to book you. A lot of people are looking for information. You have to have a path for each of those people. A button that says book now is a very high commitment action, right? And if I click that, Carlos, am I going to be able to go in and enter my credit card data? No. Right? It's a contact. Is it a contact form?
Yeah, I think it is.
Let's see. So you got a calendar that's trying to load. What am I booking here?
You got me. That's why they've been working on this website. This company is called Excel Digital in Chicago.
Okay.
And they promised me the world with it, but I personally don't feel comfortable with it myself. Well, I feel like there's so much missing.
First of all, you click book now. It doesn't have any wording on this page, so I don't know what I'm booking for. It won't let me even fill out the form unless I choose a day and time, so I assume I'm trying to schedule a meeting with you. Maybe. But it doesn't say any of that, right? It doesn't tell me any of that. So there's 5 things that I look for when I look at a website. I want to know who you are, right? Your name, company name, whichever it is. I want to know either where you are or where you do business. So do you do business in my area, or these days it's do you do business remotely, right? I want to know, what do you do, right? Do you do what I need? What do you want me to do? What action do you want me to take? And then the 5th is just aesthetically. Does it look and feel current and fresh and modern? So I don't really have a problem with the look. I have a problem with like how the content is. I don't know what you do. I don't know where I'm supposed to go. What am I supposed to do? And then I see a lot of dead ends. And what I mean by dead ends is when you go to a site, let's go here. So here's your menu, right? There's your menu at the top here. That's fine. It's not sticky, right? It's not staying at the top. So Matt, make sure he's got a sticky menu, desktop and mobile. It is sticky on desktop. It's not sticky on mobile. But now look what happens when I scroll. This sales training should be linking to your sales training page, right? Mentoring should be linking to where you do talk about mentoring, sales training one-on-one. None of this is actionable. So those are dead ends. So instead, and I'll go back to my homepage and show you, when I had this is sales training. So this is similar to yours, right? You have an icon, it says sales training, except you click on it here, and now you're on my sales training page. So you need to reduce the friction. Let's use a Shep Hyken phrase. You need to reduce the friction and get people to what they want while they're already someplace, like here. So all of these, and by the way, they can link to the same places. It's okay. They should just link. And then it's not book now. It should be contact us. Then you have about us, right? And now over here, read more. It could be, meet Carlos, or it could be, more about Carlos or something like that. Now let me do the U test. So 9 times on the page. Let's do it on the desktop, easier to see. U, right? Helping you find and forge your own path. That's good. The word you doesn't exist anywhere in this section, right? some of this stuff. Here you go. Your skills. Now some more of this is loaded now. Let me type you again. Nope, still 9 times on the page. Right? Now notice again, read more. Tell me about what. Now this, wow, that's not even a link. It says sales training, right? Why is it not a link? The picture should link. That should link. So what are these are these going to be events you have coming up, or?
I have no idea. They just put that in there, and
Okay.
I question that myself. It's just that,
Okay.
you know, when you are in a shopping mall and you don't know what you want, I think.
Yep.
But then when somebody comes to me and asks for my services, I advise them on all the blind spots. These people is not advising me for anything. They just throw stuff in it without advising what it
Okay,
good.
so what we're looking to do here is make it clearer what you do, who you do it for, and how to find the information that they want. And then once they find that information, what should they do next? So like right here, it has founder, 22 years of professional experience, Carlos, there you go. No call to action. You didn't say, I'd love to find out more about your company and how I can help you. Like on my sales training page, it says over here, if you'd like to find out more about having me do remote sales training for you with payment arrangements that allow you to have training now while extending the payments. I did that for COVID, right? There you go. Another call to action. If you want your sales team to sell more in less time and have more fun doing it, right? That's a results-based phrase. You want your team to sell more in less time and have more fun doing it. That's results-based. And now do this stuff. But notice the difference here. Via email, contact me via email, text, use the short form on this page. And let me show you how that works also, because I know I mentioned that before. See this word here, use the short form on the page? You don't see a form, do you? Click that, now you're at the form. And then at the top of the form, it's got the call to action again on there. So this training about assessment, streaming, library, contact. All right, let's go to the contact page. Is that same? So this is this. Now, what does that look like on mobile? Let me get rid of that. Over there. Contact. Yeah, see, this should be, the form should be up there at the, look, this whole page here, that's taken up almost half. And then you have the address, and then...
Which is not my business address. That's not what I'm at. I've been telling them to change it. They haven't changed it. That's not where my training school is. I have an actual building where I train.
Okay. All right, then you have here, get in touch. But again, tell me why. Like, send us your needs. Tell me why. So at the top of my form, contact Alan about speaking a mastermind day, a website. I'm telling you why. You know, what are you contacting me about? And then the form is nice and short, so that's fine. The phone number is click to dial. Good. This is email. Is that the email address you use for your business?
For now, because they haven't been able to create me a page based on my...
Yeah, Carlos at Carlos Vides Advisor.
Advisor.com.
Yeah. Yeah, you want someone to have 3 things when they have your email address: your name, your website, and your email address.
Yeah. I bought the host through Bluehost.
Okay.
And then I hired this company, and they are doing everything through GoDaddy.
Okay. I do through GoDaddy also.
Yeah.
But I had an email address set up through GoDaddy in 5 minutes. I just called GoDaddy. So, and again, so now here, training, we provide training in several areas. Give me more of a description. Below, you'll find all the sales training courses you can have. Now, do you specialize in any industries?
Car sales, real estate, insurance business, like.
Okay. All right. So take the main ones there, and say whether you're looking to have your car sales team, real estate team, the courses below will help you help them. Bum, 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 bum. If there's specific training you'd like to see that you don't see here, call, email, or contact me. That should be at the top before you even get to those courses. And then you have the course, and obviously that's going to get into buy it over there. So you just have a lot of ambiguity here in terms of what do you do. Like here again, nothing's actionable. There's no phone number. There's no call to action. And then testimonials. How long have you been doing training, Carlos?
privately for over 7 years. Now on my own, only 90 days.
Okay. So you want to try to get testimonials as much as you can from as many people as you can. But you can get video testimonials and then transcribe them. You can get written. Let me show you all something that I do that you can copy this idea. So I use Evernote. You can use any kind of Google Doc or Word doc. So I save almost everything that people post online, email me, post on my site, and I put them into little buckets. So this is speaking testimonials. This is mastermind testimonials. This is consulting testimonials. And then when I need something, I can just go to this page and you can look at the scroll bar. This is a very long, very long page. But if I needed a testimonial that used a certain word or a phrase or somebody from a certain country, I could go look for them here very easily. And some of them are, like here, this is on Facebook. Somebody said this on Facebook. My website review with him turned into an endless amount of solid tips and information on running business. Okay? He put it on Facebook. I copied it. Mark Haywood on Facebook. There you go. I have some Instagram ones. I have some things that people email me. Here, on Facebook. They're over here. On Instagram. I just save all this stuff here, and that's how I have all these quotes. I'll bold certain phrases. Those phrases I'll bold so that that's probably the line that I'll use, not the whole thing. Okay? And then video testimonials. Let me show you. Do I have it on this page? That was me. Actually, you know what? I don't know if I shared sound when I shared the screen here. So let me stop share for a second. Let me share again with sound. Here we go. And let me show you something here. Animoto. So here we go. Watch this.
Every time I get an Alan Berg book, every time I see one of his videos, and now after this, I'm going to spend the next week redoing how I run my business.
Take something new away every time, and it's just always a pleasure.
I learned a lot of things about my website that I didn't know. Lots to improve on, but that's what I'm here for. So thanks to Alan.
I'm about to revamp my website, and it's always great to have the latest and greatest information.
Thank you for this. I think you broke down what needs to be done into easy, actionable steps.
I had no idea that I was going to get so much content in such a short period of time.
I don't know what to expect, but I love when I get the aha moment.
It's been really, really valuable tonight, so thank you.
Definitely worth every dollar paid for. So I would highly recommend to anybody that would be thinking or considering, definitely do it.
You'd be mad not to do this because you're going to find out so much.
So that was at the end of Zoom calls. I just asked them to say something, and then I just took pieces of those videos, just a few seconds, edited the video together, sent it to rev.com for $1.25 a minute. They gave me the caption file back, and now you have the captions so you can read it without, you don't even have to have the sound on. So that's just a little tip over there. Okay, so let me hide this. Hide this thing again. It's in my way. Floating meeting controls. All right. So, yeah.
I want to share a real quick service that even you might be interested in. I think I used to use Vimeo and Rev for the exact same reasons that you did. Mm-hmm. And a guy that I know named Stu McLaren has launched a new product called Searchy.io. And it basically combines the Vimeo and the Rev services into one product.
How do you spell that?
SEARCHIE.io.
Okay.
And here's the really cool thing is that it coordinates with Dropbox, it coordinates with YouTube, it coordinates with Facebook. So if you do a Facebook Live, it will suck the video automatically into its system, do the transcription, provide you with the subtitles and the copy for one fee. And then
is it machine transcription or is it human? Because Rev is human.
It's not a human transcription like the Rev Premium service. No, it's
right.
not.
Okay.
That's the only caveat. But it's it was a great tool for me to be able to use. I just threw it out there just for.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, because Zoom gives us the transcription of the audio, but it's just an audio file. It's not a transcription, but it's an audio file. I use Rev for my short videos because they're a minute, right? It's like for $2.50 if it goes just more than a minute. It's like, right? If it's an hour, maybe now, but I don't usually have them on there. But that's cool. I'm going to leave this open to see what this is all about. Okay, so you want to look for the dead ends. Carlos, you want to try to get testimonials from people, right? And you want those words and phrases that speak about the results of hiring you. That's the key. But I think, if is this WordPress, Carlos?
Yes.
Yeah, Matt can work with this and tweak it and do stuff, because anything you need done here in terms of calls to action and buttons and things like that, he can add on to here. You don't necessarily have to start from scratch.
I pay these people so much. I pay them close to $3,000, and they promised me that this thing was going to be the best in the world. And I myself find myself like, well, I wish it did that. I wish it does this. and every time I have to email them and wait for a few days, sometimes a week before they even get back with me. And it's very, I pay them 6 months ago, and then finally got to this about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. You got Matt now, so.
Frustrating,
okay.
Carlos, man. I feel your pain, dude. I really do.
Okay, so here is Dorinda. Dorinda, you're still with us? Yep, she's still with us over there. So how much of your traffic is mobile? Do you know, Dorinda?
I don't know anything.
Okay, that's all right.
Okay.
All right, so here, let me just refresh this to make sure. All right, so let's go quick observations. The colors feel dark. Just first observation, it feels dark. If we go back to Carlos's site here, right, and then you go over here, it feels dark. Now, are these colors your brand colors?
Yes, because I am the red, white, and blue. I'm patriotic. I do veterans. I'm a child survivor of Pearl Harbor. I'm one of the few left.
Okay.
And it was 80 years ago. So this is the message I'm getting out. So try to do patriotic.
But your site's not red, white, and blue. It's tan, red, and blue.
That's true.
Right. I would prefer it was red, white, and blue, because the white would be brighter, right?
Hey, so, Matt, are you taking notes, please?
Hey. I've got the recording. I'm going to go back and I can watch it copiously.
Okay. So the first thing I noticed is I was thinking red, white, and blue, because you have a very patriotic look here, but it's not actually red, white, and blue. So let's change it to red, white, and blue. That'll help.
Okay.
But now when you go to mobile, that whole flag and all that design is gone.
Okay.
Right, it's gone, so it's not consistent. If people are going on mobile, they're not seeing that whole thing there.
Okay.
Your menu is not sticky, right? It doesn't stay up at the top when somebody goes there.
Okay.
On desktop, you have your menu down here with this very big header, and then again, when I scroll, the menu is gone. So, how long ago did you make this site?
This one's been up 2 years.
Okay. Again, just speaking frankly, it feels older than that, and it's a design thing.
Okay.
Matt, I would get rid of the red on the sides, go to the white background. It's going to brighten this whole thing right up. I mean, just immediately, it's going to brighten it up. You have big block of text. Learn more. Big block of text. Learn more. Pardon me. Learn more about what? Right? So who's Dorinda? Have a button here that says meet Dorinda, right? Instead of learn more, tell me what's going to happen. Speaking engagements, speaking info, right? That's just change them. And Matt, change them to buttons instead of just a text link. Make it actually look like a button, because that does that. You should also have your photo should link to that same About You page. The headline here, who is Dorinda, have that go over there as well. Do you have testimonials, Dorinda?
I don't know if I have them on the site. I have them all on the back of my book, and they're really good.
Okay. You want to find those single sentences
Okay.
that speak to this. So under Who's Dorinda, it should be about you. Under Speaking Engagements, it should be about you speaking, right? So those single sentences. Let me just show you guys one more thing that I do. So Alan Berg, well, I'll do it this way. Review alanberg.com. There's no such page. It's actually a blog page from 2011. This is where I send people to post reviews. So they come over here, and since I've spoken in other countries, it has asistido a una conferencia donde presenté, right? It's got it in English and Spanish. Click here to post your review. There's 840 comments on this page. It's probably 420 because I respond to every comment, which is also an important thing. If there's a place where people are posting reviews and you are allowed to post the response because it personalizes it. So this is how I get my reviews. When I'm speaking, I'll say to people, if somebody says, oh, gee, that was great. I said, people always ask me, how do you get more reviews? Well, I've made it easy. It's just reviewalanberg.com. And then I'll say, feel free to write that down. No, really, right now, write that down. And then all of a sudden, I'll get a few more reviews in there. This is my speaking reviews page. I have review. MyConsulting.com is for my consulting, my sales training, and so forth. And this page only has 718 comments. So this is how I get these, plus what people post on social and stuff like that. And then for my books, I have reviewmybooks.net. And that takes them to my Amazon page. So all of my books are here on Amazon. This way I don't have to say, hey, go to Amazon and post a review. No, go right here. And then all of my books are right there. In English and in Spanish. And on Audible and on Kindle and all that kind of stuff. So those are called redirects. Okay, so Dorinda. Makana Olalani.
Yes.
Well, something like that. Okay, the Pearl Harbor child, author, and speaker.
And that's my actual photo. So that's my logo. Myself with a gas mask and my dog.
Okay. Who is your target audience?
Schools and librarians.
Okay, so one of the ways to design a site is that when they come to your homepage, since schools and librarians are similar but different audiences, is to have a link for schools and to have a link for libraries or librarians. So when they come in, they can immediately go, oh, schools, I should go here. Because when I look here, I don't know if I'm your target audience and what's different about how you speak for schools, how you speak for librarians. Not a big difference, but their needs are different. My audience is all the one audience, wedding and event professionals. So that's why when you go to my site, right, come back over here, it says, where do wedding and event businesses like yours go for real world actionable ideas they can use right away? I'm talking to my audience right from the beginning. If you have a very specific audience like that, I would want you to be telling them right from the beginning, whether you're a school or whether you're a librarian looking for a great program, I have a story that is going to delight your students, your audience, whoever it is. So that's one way to have that go in, as opposed to about the author books appearances. I'm still not sure who your target audience is because this is about you. Let me do the you test. So you're only saying the word you 3 times on the home page. Let's go to another page. Let's go to appearances. 5 times here. So I think you could take some of your wording and turn it around to include the audience a little bit more, right? So Dorinda has been featured in People Magazine, NBC, right? You might have seen Dorinda in People Magazine, NBC, whatever, just changing the wording a little bit, right? You might have seen, lets you put the word you in there as well, right? Her favorite venue is the classroom. You'll be pleased to know that Dorinda's favorite venue is the classroom, right? You. So try to use the word you a little bit more in there. There's nothing actionable in here either. Kind of like on Carlos's site. It's like, what do I click on? Where do I go? What am I supposed to, oops. What happened there? Oh, Squarespace. It's Squarespace. All right. That was weird. Hey, Matt, I hit escape and it takes me here. I'm on her website and I hit escape and it does that. That's weird.
That's interesting.
That's
the escape key on your keyboard took you to a login.
Escape key took me to the login. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I've never seen that before.
Well, there's my reviews. Oh, there's my shoot with American Girl doll.
Okay, so again, there's no reviews here. You see, this is the thing, reviews page. If you look at the analytics, this is on Squarespace. They probably have analytics that show you which pages are getting viewed and which not. The reviews page is probably not a very much viewed page because it's just, I've never seen a site where they've got more than 1 or 2% of the traffic to the site. So, again, from the home page, where should they go? Take them in there, and then when they get there, so again, there's you, right? Photo American Girl doll, Nanea, Dorinda, and a film crew in Hawaii. I searched this page for the word you. It's only once on the whole page. It's not even there. It's young. It's not even the word you. So the way you turn your about page into including them in is by using the word you, right? So you could say something like, many of you can relate to, or like many of you, or things like that. So just try to include that because this is just a lot about you. And Bob, to your point before, text. Do you want to read this? Right? Another way to make that text a little bit more attractive for the eye is kind of like what I do when it comes to my blog, is I use headlines here. So now, Dorinda, imagine the same thing on your page. Where's your page? There.
Oh,
If you put a little headline.
Yes.
Because we scan.
Oh, yes.
So now we scan, and then the way I do my headlines is I try to make them a little bit more interesting. So remember what got you here. It's a good problem to have. Yeah. Fill your calendar the right way. What worked before may not work now. Are you diversified? Divide and conquer, right? It's just more interesting to look at. So Bob, my blog is not going to have photos and it's not going to have testimonials here. Where it does is down here. I put my copyright, then I put a physical line, and then I say, need help with whatever I just spoke about above there. Join me for an upcoming masterclass, testimonial. Is it time to fire your website? Testimonial. Call to action here. Okay. Right? So even on my blog. But this look, right? This look of the headlines, to your point, Bob, how do you put a lot of text without making it feel that? Mixing in the testimonials, putting in the headlines and stuff, that's how you do that. So what I do on, all of my pages, so here again, right? Headline, quote, different colors over there. Then there's the video. There's more quotes over there. This is the whole page. That's this whole page. But tab. And even with those headlines.
Question.
Yeah.
Really. American Girl doll has contacted me and created a doll.
Cool.
For me, for my story and what I've gone through. Mm-hmm. Should I take more advantage of that? I am the only American Girl history doll that is about a live person. And so there I am filming in Hawaii with the doll. Should I play that up more?
Absolutely, but
again, it's about them. Okay.
Play it up in a way that connects it to the audience. Since you're speaking to schools,
yes,
and at the libraries, are you speaking to children as well?
I do, and I do literature conferences. Too.
Right. So you want to do a hey, look at me, but you want to do that. American Girl was so impressed with my story that they've created the only doll about a living person or whatever you just said over there. And that will help your audience connect with me because we know how children sometimes don't always connect with the adults, and the doll is that bridge.
I love that.
Okay, you have the recording because I couldn't say that again the same way.
And then I have a picture of me with Lee Cowan on CBS Sunday Morning, and I've been in People Magazine. And do I need to make?
You need the captions. Remember I talked about captions before?
God, yes. You wouldn't even know that that's CBS Sunday Morning.
Right.
And right. I have been used as a media contact for Pearl Harbor history. This is the 80th anniversary, and I want to take advantage of media contacting me.
Right. Yeah. So again, you're saying a lot of great things, but we don't know where to find them here on your site.
Okay.
So if you had a press page on your site where you talk about where you've been shown in the press, but also talk about the press, if you would like to have Dorinda on your podcast, TV, radio, whatever, here's how she can help you, and now contact her. And then if you have any quotes from any of the press, we loved having Dorinda on CBS 10, whatever, that doesn't hurt either.
Okay.
Okay? All right.
Oh, you need to go to someone else.
Yep.
I have 2 websites. Should I get rid of one?
Why do you have 2?
I started with one a long time ago, and I wasn't reaching kids and librarians. And so I went and had this one made in my name. And the other one is in my Pearl Harbor child name. And I'm not sure if you should ever have 2 websites.
Well, not if it's the same business and the same audience. So you just want to redirect the other URL to this. So if they go to that web address, it sends them here instead.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Bob, what's your web address, or do you not want me to do this? Can't hear you.
I'm in the process of changing it now, but you can go there if you'd like.
What is it?
It's bobducine.com.
Okay, so again, leadership lessons from Saturday Night Live. Love that. That's, again, going to attract people.
Love that.
Watch Bob speak. So I love the fact that you have the action on that image there, but watch Bob speak is a very specific action. Why don't you give me a second one, which is to find more about something that they really came in for, because they didn't come to watch you speak, right? Is speaking or coaching, which the bigger part of your business?
Well, and that's why I'm revamping it right now, and it's a work in progress. This was a year ago when my primary business was keynote speaking. Now I'm going back more to coaching, consulting, virtual workshops.
Right. So give me that other one over here. So kind of like when I did on my site here, same thing for me. I was away 178 nights in 2019, and now I've been home for 11 months. So I added virtual training and presenting, and I added that all over here, private website review, business consulting, virtual presentations, just made it very clear how do you get over to what they want to do. So have that other link there. You don't have a sticky menu at the top of this one, right? So the menu's not staying up at the top when we scroll. Let's get that over there. Okay. Interesting thing with this, and Matt, I don't know if you had heard this. I follow a little bit Jacob Nielsen, so he's a web usability guy. He said it's not a big difference, but is a little bit of a difference of having your logo on the left side of the menu instead of in the middle works a little bit better, gets people to take action a little better. So having the logo all the way to the left, and then the menus like here, like on my site, there's the logo, there's the menu items. For whatever reason in there, and they do all these ABC testing and watching people using sites and stuff. So it's a minor thing, but it's just one of those things. Okay. The other thing I notice here, I'm looking at your menu bar, and you have, again, Book Bob as the top right. So let's see, we know what Carlos was doing. So it's a contact page, right? It should say Contact Bob, because Book Bob, if I'm looking for coaching, I don't think of it as booking, right?
Well, and again, this site was created 99% for keynote speaking.
No, that's okay. Right? That's all right.
So yeah, but I see that now.
Your phone number is not click to dial. Your email is, but put a contact form. It's a crazy thing. I got an inquiry the other day. I got booked by the Bahamas Ministry of Tourism. I have met this woman many times. We have messaged before. She didn't email me. She went to my site and filled out my contact form.
Okay.
Like, you're on my site. She could have clicked email. It would have opened an email. No, she filled out the short contact form because it was just that easy. Okay. So your keynote speaker is absolutely central to the success of your event and the success of your organization. Bob combines proven business insights with performance unlike any other, one that will have your audience laughing, learning, and applauding by measure. To find out about having Bob, do, and again, on the new site, you want to talk about, coaching and that kind of stuff, to have Bob do call, email, or fill out this short form. Okay. And then what you might want to do, Bob, so I don't have the form on my home page. I have it on every other page. So let's say if I go to sales training here. So on my form, I have, what are you looking for? Which are the services that I do did you come in for? So you could do check boxes. The reason I have a drop down is because this is salesforce.com. So it's the choices that are on Salesforce for when I categorize. So just, you could do something like that. My contact page is not Salesforce. 99 out of 100 people that fill out my contact page are trying to sell me something. But the people that really want something fill out the short form on the side of the page. All right, so here, if you'd like to begin a discussion about how I can help you with, now notice this, website review. That's a link to the website review page. Mastermind to the mastermind. Pop-up wedding workshop, on-site, etc. Please complete the short form below. If you prefer, I can also be reached directly by email, text, or phone, international phone. And then I put my mailing address. People still contact me and say, what's your mailing address? Okay, it's on the contact page. And then there's the form, there's the check boxes. And then I don't like to say, how did you hear about me? I say, how did you find my website today? It's just a little bit different way to do it because I want to know how you got here. Remember I said earlier, they don't come from your website, they come through it. Where did you come from? And this form looks very large because on mobile, it's going to get a lot smaller. This is desktop. Great. But I'm telling you, 1 out of 100 that fill this out are actually a prospect. The rest of them are just, they're going to go to a page like this. The form's going to be there. They're going to fill that form out. Yeah. And that's it.
Thank you.
Okay. So we want to look for the dead ends, right? So what you want to look at, Bob, is which are the most popular pages on this site? Because when you make the new site, it's going to give you an idea. What have people been looking at? Right? So we come over here, lessons from Saturday Night Live. All right. And I'm sure you say somewhere here what you did with Saturday Night Live.
No, it's actually my contacts are secondary to Saturday Night Live. So I'm not a Saturday Night Live performer. I'm a Second City Chicago person. Okay.
So again, what I'm looking for here is there's no link. There's no link, right? What do you want them to do? Right. So what is this? Are these little video samples?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell them that. Right? Okay. Click on the video to see, how, what Tina Fey can teach you about whatever, right? And then over here, it should be, if you'd like Bob to present this or any of his topics, call, email, or contact Bob today. Right. And then the same thing here, and then the same thing here, and then the same thing here. And then the other thing is, all of these video thumbnails look exactly the same. Element number 1, element number 2, element number 3. Okay. If these are different, then first of all, people will be more attracted to a picture that had people in it.
Right.
And then, because otherwise they all look exactly the same when you're scrolling, and, it's just the words that are making them different. So.
Yeah. And those are mostly going away anyway. So.
Okay. Let's go to coaching. Same thing about the testimonials, mix them in. Leadership coaching. See, like right here, leadership coaching, instead of your words here, there should be a short quote about something that somebody said about your coaching. Okay. Because now it says leadership coaching, and they are like, Bob is the man, your business is going to go to shit if you don't come. Oh, I'm sorry.
Which is true.
Well, but there you go. Yeah. Right. And you need to mix those in. So Dorinda, you need to do that as well. Carlos, you already talked about that. Ron, you already know that. We need to mix those things in so that it's more quote, 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 because what they say about you is better than anything you can write. And that's, again, why I save them here, because as much as you think that you have the greatest thing anybody's ever said about you, then somebody comes along and says something else. Here. There's nobody more influential and knowledgeable in the wedding industry than Alan Berg. I can't say that. A mastermind with Alan is guaranteed success for your business. Okay. I can't say that, but they can. All right. Ron, we've already been through your site, right?
Yeah. You have one last question, and I think we need to kind of wrap this up, Alan.
Sure.
Dorinda, I believe, posted a question in chat. Do you see it, or do I need to?
Website, your name or your book name or your logo name. Well, the best web address is the one that includes the words or phrases that people would be looking for you. Okay, so like for me, Dorinda, my business name is not alanberg.com. I have a DBA, but my business name is Wedding Business Solutions. That's my business name. But my website is alanberg.com because people are looking for me. They're not looking for Wedding Business Solutions. They're looking for me. Thank you. My wife delivers me my Diet Coke.
I'm still waiting on the cookies.
By the way, Girl Scouts make gluten-free cookies now. Just saying.
Oh, wow.
Caramel chocolate chip.
Do they do it in a tree?
Would you elaborate on that?
Yeah.
One is your name and one is...
Right. So I have, well, I've cut it back. I used to have over 100 different web addresses, and now I have probably 50 still. So alanberg.com is my website. All right. So if we go to my website, it's alanberg.com. Everything is alanberg.com/whatever. Okay. But my business name, legally, taxes that I file, is Wedding Business Solutions, LLC. That's my business name. People are looking for me. I have chosen my business to be just me. I don't have any other trainers, any other speakers, any other coaches. It is me. That's what you get. So my web address is alanberg.com. Makes a lot of sense because they're looking for Alan. Okay? But if you type in weddingbusinesssolutions.com, it's going to take you to my website. If you type in yourpersonalsalestrainer.com, it's going to take you to my website. So like you said, you have another website.
Yes.
You could redirect. It's called technically a 301 redirect, but you can have that address go to Dorinda. What is this one? This is DorindaNicholson.com.
Yeah.
So when someone is looking for the old website, they could end up here. But the question is this: what is somebody looking for when they're looking for you?
Pearl
now,
Harbor, and not my name.
Right. So if that's specifically what they're looking for, right? Yes. What is the other address?
Pearl Harbor Child, which is what I'm known as.
There you go.
The name of my books.
Right. So pearlharborchild.com, which relates then to your books and all that, if that's what they're looking for, is better than DorindaNicholson.com. And then you can flip it and you can make it that your main website address is pearlharborchild.com. But if somebody types in DorindaNicholson.com because they have it saved somewhere, they're going to go here. Or if they Google Dorinda Nicholson, it could come up with either way, right? It come up. You want to make sure your name is on your site, obviously, which it is, but you also would want the main site to be for SEO, the one that people are looking for. Matt, do I have that pretty?
Right on, brother.
Okay. Right arm.
So Alan, before we let you go, I
Yes.
know that you have a website, personal website reviews. You also have group website reviews. Why don't you talk a little bit about that and how folks can get in touch with you to take advantage of those things? I guess we all saw the tabs on your.
Yeah, you saw all that in my contact form. So I say, listen, if you get to my website and you don't know what I do or how to contact me, then I have done a really bad job. And but as you can see, it's pretty easy once you go to alanberg.com and there's calls to action. Any upcoming things I have are here. Pardon me. So all my things, most of my stuff, as Ron will tell you, it's targeted for the wedding and event industry, but I don't speak about weddings or events. That's just the audience that I speak to. So Dorinda, you could speak to different groups than the schools and the libraries, and I'm sure occasionally you do, but you focus on them. Yes. So I speak outside my industry when I'm asked to, and this presentation, not much different than I speak about in the industry, but the pictures I show are different. I'm not showing Tim Gard and Patricia Fripp, right?
Yeah.
I'm showing people in our industry because it makes more sense. So you want to get a hold of me, just go over there. I'm on all the social channels as well. But I try to practice what I preach as much as possible on my site. If you happen to find a typo or something, please let me know. Matt, what did you find on the other browser? Are my icons gone there too?
Yeah, so I did a little bit of looking. I think it's probably one of two things. It could be a plugin conflict. Something may have gotten updated recently.
Okay.
And so usually the fix for that is to do a plugin refresh, turn them off, turn them back on.
Okay.
Could be CSS too. I wasn't able to deep dive too far into it, but that would be my two guesses.
Thanks. Yeah, we don't have any custom CSS. This way, every time we do an update, it doesn't overwrite it.
Yeah.
But plugins, yeah, we have plenty of those. So thank you. I will go the turn off, turn on. Thank you for the search.io. I'm going to look at that. If anybody does have a question you think of afterwards, or Bob, when you're making the new site, you're like, I wonder what Alan would think of this. Just shoot me an email and put the link and say, hey, what do you think of this? You know,
I wake up in the middle of the night wondering what is Alan thinking right now. You know? Often, it's part of my life, I guess.
There you go. So Carlos, I have a question for you. Are you in Canada, Carlos, or are you in Canada, Carlos? Because your site had Alberta as the address. You're frozen. Are you muted there?
I was going to say that's a still photo there.
Well, that.
Oh, you're frozen.
That's what I said. I asked them to change that, and they haven't done it.
Okay, but you're in Kansas City. Yeah, because I can tell from your Kansas City accent.
City. I have an actual building where I do my training. Yeah.
That's not a Kansas City accent? I thought you were right and they were all wrong. No? No. So, but I can go, he presentado en 5 países en español, Carlos. And now I'm learning French, so I'm totally screwing up my Spanish because I'm teaching myself French. Yeah, I spoke on Facebook Live for a group of wedding planners in Peru, and I did in Spanglish. And then I had a friend of mine in Miami who's from Venezuela, and she invited me to do a Facebook Live, and she didn't tell me it was going to be in Spanish. And I get on, and everybody's speaking Spanish. I'm like, okay. I guess.
You're so multi-talented, Alan. And it looks like Matt probably got more best friends today than he ever imagined he would pick up.
There you go.
On Paul. So Matt.
So Matt, if you want a tag team and have me do my dog and pony show here, and then you can get them all to fix it, just let me know.
I do have a request. I just followed you on Clubhouse. I've become a Clubhouse guy the last 3 weeks. Ping me whenever you get in a room. I'd love to be a fly on the wall or add value if I can. Please.
Great. I actually had this thought. I've been on a few of them. I was in a really busy one the other day. But a friend of mine yesterday said that I should have a Clubhouse, what is it, a group or a club or something like that. But you have to host 3 weekly Clubhouses to be able to apply to get your own club. But I was thinking of doing like Wedding Business Wednesdays or something like that, and maybe coming up with something like that. So Ron, maybe we'll have you on there. We'll see. But yeah, I want to see about it. I love the concept of Clubhouse, but when it came out, I'm like, another place. It's just another
Matt and
place.
I were having that very same conversation just the other day. It's like, God, do I really need one more distraction?
Yeah. I love it when I'm on it and I get pinged all the time about, hey, these people are in. People are like, hey, I'm in a room. You should come in with us. And I'm like, I just don't have that kind of time. I just don't have that kind of. I don't podcast. I go on other people's podcasts. I got all the equipment that I need here. I have 900 watts of LEDs going on here. I got my microphone, my Blue Yeti. I'm here, but I'd rather be on somebody else's because I'm in front of your audience. Whereas if I do my own, I'm in front of my audience. So that's why I don't podcast or do that stuff. I go on other people's. And when somebody says, hey, do you want to come on? I'm like, let's do it. And that's just my philosophy. And that's how I expand my audience. Otherwise I'm preaching to the choir, right?
Yeah.
So there we go.
All right. Well, Matt, do you have any final word? Matt, before we go, I know we have a YouTube page now, do we not? The NSA-KC YouTube page?
Yes, we do have a YouTube channel. We sure do.
And I know we just posted the interview that we did with Jed Kunzo the other day, which I would encourage all of you, if you've not had an opportunity, to check that out. We don't have a vanity URL yet, do we, for that YouTube page?
Not yet. Not yet. And that's a good question, Alan. I would love to be, we have recorded this and we will share it with the registered attendees. It's up to you whether or not we make it public.
Oh, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it's cool.
Okay.
Yeah. And actually, I have a request since I taught you how to do this before. So before we go, we have 5 of you on here. You get the recording that's got just the speaker, right? Okay. So if each of you can just give me a 30-second, talk about the experience here, because I'm sure if other chapters like, who is this guy and what does he talk about? So Bob, let's start with you.
Well, I thought, Alan, the everything you presented was great, and I appreciate the review of my website. Even though I'm redoing it, it gave me a lot of great insights as to things I need to look at moving forward to make it always make it as good as it can be.
Excellent. Carlos.
I'd like to say thank you very much for reviewing my website more than anything, because now I know that I'm not blind. I was blind before, but now I know what to do and how to get my website. I feel embarrassed now to even let people see my website. So after this conversation, so I will get I will get to it. Matt and everybody else that can help me with the designers that I'm paying for, I will get on them on Monday to get everything fixed up and make it look marketable. They can make money for me.
Excellent. Excellent. Dorinda. Can't hear you. You're muted.
Okay.
There you go.
In less than 30 seconds, Alan let me know that the colors of our country for my patriotic website are really red, white, and blue, not red, tan, and blue.
All right.
Thank
Matt.
you.
Thank you. Matt.
Hey, being with Alan has been awesome. I've been a web professional for 30 years, and to hear somebody break down how to put together an effective website for a speaker or for a business, I've got more notes than I can keep up with. Thank you, Alan.
Thanks. And awesome. Ron. Can't hear you.
I'm new to this whole Zoom thing. I'm so sorry. So I have known Alan for any number of years. So I'm going to pull the friend card here. Yes, he's tremendous when it comes to website reviews. He's reviewed my site on both my speaking site and my wedding site. But when it comes to these types of presentations with Alan, the one thing that I want to share with anybody that might be considering asking him to be a part of their meetings is that he's a giver. I mean, we have gone quite literally 3 hours with Alan today, and not one point did he ever say, God, is this the last? No, he just keeps going and was willing to go even longer, but unfortunately we're just out of time. So Alan is a giver. I can't tell you how much it means to have someone that you can rely on that's just willing to provide so much information and ask for so little in return. And thank you so much for being a part of our particular group this morning. We do enjoy having you as a member of the NSA-KC family.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for sticking around. Let me know how else I can help you. And Ron, I can't wait to come out there and sit and have some barbecue again.
And chicken gizzard.
You can have the gizzards. You can have the gizzards. I will even go off my gluten-free wagon to go back for the fried chicken there.
Hey, Alan.
Yes.
For your Hawaii wedding planners, you give with aloha.
Much appreciated. And I was in, I keep wanting to say I was someplace last year, but I wasn't any place last year. I was in Hawaii in 2019. It was a tough gig. A customer said, would you come to Maui and spend 2 days with training our team? That was tough. It was tough. I took one for the team. I did. I took one for the team. My wife said, I'll take one for the team with you. I'll come out with you. It was tough. It was tough there. So,
and she kept you with Diet Cokes, lots of ice.
She did. You like how the hand comes in with the Diet Coke? That's great. That's my one a day. I drink brown liquids, so I drink this now and I drink bourbon later. So there we go. And I had tea before, so only brown liquids over there. So you guys have a great day. Stay safe. Stay healthy.
Thank you so much.
All right. Take care, everybody.
And we'll see you all later.
Thank you.
Bye bye now.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.